Are you struggling to find happiness in your life? Do you often doubt your decisions? Are you looking for a quick way to feel better? Do you wish you were more confident in everyday situations? Are you ready to make a significant change right now? You've clicked on the right video. This guide taps into the enduring wisdom of Stoic philosophy to help you quickly transform your outlook and self-esteem. In just a few hours, you'll learn powerful, easy-to-implement strategies that focus on cultivating inner peace and confidence. These practical exercises are designed to fit seamlessly into your life, making profound changes accessible and achievable. Unlock the secrets of Stoicism and see how these timeless principles can lead to significant improvements in your mood and self-assurance. Embrace this chance to strengthen your mental resilience and step into a more joyful, confident version of yourself. Let's begin this journey together. Are you ready to become a different person? Have you ever felt like emotional connection was too much to handle, like you were stuck in a loop that you couldn't get out of? It's a common problem that can make you feel stuck and helpless. But there is good news. Change is not only possible, it's also very close. We will learn from ancient Stoic thinkers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca how to master the art of separation and break free from the emotional chains that hold us back. Why is it important to be detached? Think about it. When we hold on too tight to people or things, they take over our lives. It's like giving someone else control over your emotions and having them come and go as they please. Their power over you can make you happy or sad, and in the worst cases, it can push people to make choices they can't change. Detaching doesn't mean you stop caring. It just means giving things that are out of your control the weight they deserve. Think of your feelings as a kite. This may seem strange at first, but bear with me. Each string that is connected to something or someone can make your feelings go in different directions. The wind can blow you off if you hold on to too many strings or one too tightly. Let go of things. Stoicism tells us that we can't change the wind, but we can choose which strings to hold. This doesn't make you cold or uncaring. It makes you strong and grounded. Let's get down to business. First, figure out what or who you're too close to. Then, think about why. Are you looking for approval, scared of being alone, or something else? The first thing you need to do to loosen your connection is to figure out where it comes from. Go ahead and do things that give you a sense of meaning and happiness. At its core, detachment frees you. How to understand attachment? You need to understand that when you're connected to something, your ego is in charge. As simple as possible, let's do this. At our core, we are creatures of love. Imagine a newborn baby who is filled with joy and not bothered by the problems of ego. But as we get older, our ego takes over and fills our lives with ties. We can't make good decisions when we're attached to people or ideas. It takes our attention away from what we're really about, which is love. Remember that this bond game is played by the ego and is the exact opposite of love and being happy with yourself. When we take a step back and look at our wants and relationships through this lens, we can see how much weight they add to our lives that we don't need. Now picture a life that is based on love instead of ego. Imagine how free you would feel if you didn't have to hold on so tightly to results, people, or positions. You can trust in plenty and really believe that what's meant for you will find its way when you live from love. This isn't just wishful thought. You have to really believe in your own worth and skills. It gives you the strength to let go and see that your ties are just props that keep you from exploring the huge ocean you were meant to explore. How can we begin to free ourselves from these chains? First, you should recognize the file. See it for what it is, something your ego made to feel safe and validated. Next, change how you see things. Know that this connection doesn't make you worth anything. your soul, your core, is enough. This understanding doesn't just happen. It takes work and a choice to put your own happiness ahead of what other people think of you. Lastly, accept the idea of having plenty. Life has a way of giving you more than what you gave up when you let go of your fear of losing something. It doesn't mean you don't care. It just means you understand better. It means being true to who you are and letting love lead you instead of fear. Going on the path to separation changes you. The idea is to shed the ego's covers to find the strong, loving soul underneath. It's about going forward with ease, without the weight of connection, and ready to accept new gifts with open arms and a strong heart. Being fooled by the ego. Ego can make us think that we're not good enough or that someone else's life is better than ours, which makes us mentally depend on other people to validate us. Because of this misunderstanding, we often look up to others and treat them like they have something we can't have. But when life's most important times get to the core of us, we see that no one has a special pass. We're all just as sensitive and human. So, we need to face this illusion straight on, recognize it for what it is, and not let it change how we see ourselves or others. For a moment, let's talk about self-confidence and getting better inside. Reminding yourself that you're great, unique, and amazing is fine. It's a good way to boost your confidence and take care of your inner kid. To have this attitude, though, you don't have to think less of other people or separate yourself from the human experience as a whole. Instead, it's about realizing that not every road is better than any other, even though we all have our own unique ones. There are many threads that make up our lives, and each one is just as important as the next. Now let's talk about separation, especially when it comes to partnerships. It's easy to get stuck in the lack attitude when you're afraid of losing someone special and hard to replace. This way of thinking comes straight from our ego and tells us lies about lack and limitations. To be emotionally detached doesn't mean rejecting your feelings or not caring about anything. Instead, it means accepting the universe's wealth and our ability to love. Realizing that even if someone is important to us, they aren't necessary for us to be whole. Realizing this frees us from attachments based on fear, letting us love without desperately holding. Last but not least, in line with the Stoic theory, it's very helpful to practice seeing everyone, including ourselves, as equal. We meet and lose people along the way, but each person has a part to play in our trip. That being said, no part is necessary. By letting this sink in, we build up a deep inner strength that helps us handle life's uncertainties with ease. How to practice detachment. The thing is, you have to be ready to let go of the past. You have to be ready to let go of old ties, right? You don't want to let go of the rope because you don't know what will happen if you do, like hanging on so tight that your hands hurt. It's not always that letting go means you'll fall. Sometimes it means you can finally reach out and grab something even better. I learned this the hard way when I stuck to a safe relationship because it was comfortable. I didn't realize I was blocking the door to happiness that was knocking on my door. Another bombshell. FOMO, or fear of losing out, is a trap. It's like seeing the best parts of other people's lives on social media and feeling like you wish you were there. But that's not real life. It's a carefully chosen and edited photo meant to show a beautiful moment. FOMO went away as soon as I stopped reading other people's stories and started living my own. You're not losing out if you don't know everything about someone else's life. It means you're fully present in your own life and making memories that are unique to you. Getting attached to a fake idea of happiness can make it seem hard to let go. You feel like you're falling behind when you see other people living their best life. You worry that you will never have what they have. Keep in mind, though, that grass only looks better from a distance. Up close, you'll see that it has some brown spots too. Making someone else's life look great takes away from your own happiness. Running on a machine to catch up to an image is a lot like that. You can go as fast as you want, but you'll never get there because it's not real. Detachment doesn't mean giving up happiness. It means making your own rules for what makes you happy. To mentally separate yourself, follow the Stoic principle. Pay attention to what you can change: your thoughts, your deeds, and your growth. It feels good to know that no one's view, no old relationship, and not even your perfectly controlled social media life can tell you how valuable or happy you are. Knowing this is like protection. It protects you from getting attached to things that aren't important. It lets you live your life as it really is, without worrying about what might happen. It leaves you open to the real, satisfying ties that are just around the corner. Remember that letting go is not the end. It's a brave step toward the life you deserve. How to get happy? Where does real value come from? When we answer this question, it can help us move away from ties that aren't important and toward mental freedom. Understanding this idea is especially important when you're trying to separate yourself from someone, which is a process that is deeply rooted in Stoic ideas. Not because you want to hurt someone or aren't interested in them, but because you know that the deepest relationship you'll ever have is with yourself. It turns out that your character, your knowledge, and how you treat other people are what give you real value. It's simple to believe that being with someone else makes us happy and that our worth goes up or down depending on their presence in our lives. This mindset, however, ties us up and limits our enormous potential, like a bird thinking it needs permission to fly. We put limits on our feelings. Instead, picture understanding that the sky has always been open and ready for you to fly on your own terms. Being independent frees us and teaches us that our worth doesn't change based on other people's thoughts or presence. When we detach from someone, we're not pushing them away. Instead, we're drawing them closer to our core. When we work on improving ourselves and becoming the best versions of ourselves, we free ourselves from the heavy weight of neediness. It's like taking care of a jar. You don't beg a flower to grow. You watch over the dirt, water the plants, and believe that things will work out on their own. Focusing on self-improvement is like growing a plant that blooms for everyone who walks through it or looks at it. This care turns into a source of happiness that lasts, is independent, and is very satisfying. So how do we walk this road of not caring about other people? It starts with realizing that you are whole, whether someone tells you so or not. Your journey is about finding the vastness of your own sky and learning to love the freedom that comes with being able to fly by yourself when you need to. Follow the advice of Stoicism and pay attention to what you can change: your thoughts, your deeds, and your growth. It doesn't mean you have to close your heart or ignore love and relationship. It just means you have to base your emotions in who you are. Remember that your self-worth isn't like a puzzle that's missing a piece. It's like a work of art that's already finished, but can use more beauty from the world around it. You may not know this, but the times we try to avoid the most, those quiet, alone times, may hold the key to our biggest growth and happiness. We're going to talk about something that could change how you see your own business. It's simple to get lost in the world's noise, always looking for someone to talk to because we're afraid that being alone could show us something we don't want to see. But what if I told you that accepting silence, taking a step back, and getting to know yourself better could make you happier and more self-aware in ways you never thought possible? Stoicism is an old theory that tells us about the power of being self-sufficient, strong, and at peace with ourselves. It is just as important today as it was thousands of years ago. With the ancient knowledge of Stoicism as our guide, we'll not only learn how to be alone, but also how to live in it. You have arrived at the right place if you have ever felt lonely or if you are just interested in what it's like to not be linked all the time. Let's find out together how being alone can be one of the most powerful things in our lives, turning something we usually see as a bad thing into our greatest strength. Do not miss this talk. It could change the way you feel about being by yourself. When you're not in a relationship, you don't have to make any promises. You're free to fly through the vast skies of social contacts. Stoicism, on the other hand, teaches us to see every experience as a chance to learn, grow, and add to the greater good. Think of each new person you meet as a chance to learn something new about the world, to question your own views, and to make you more understanding and compassionate. In fact, when you're not tied to one set of friends or a routine, you're more likely to break out of your comfort zone. This will not only help you make new friends, but it will also help you discover new interests and maybe even parts of yourself you didn't know existed. The Stoics thought that cosmopolitanism was important. Cosmopolitanism is the idea that we are all citizens of the world and are linked by our humanity. Accepting the different people and situations that life gives you is the best way to live this concept. And here's the beautiful part. Every contact, new friend, or short chat is a thread in the bigger picture of your life. No matter how short, these relationships teach us about being kind, strong, joyful, and the many ways to live a full life. Every person you meet is a chance to learn something new, give something back, and get closer to the person you're supposed to become. While you're single, remember this. Not only will you learn about the world around you, but you will also learn about the different parts of yourself. Stoicism's deep lessons push us to make good use of our time. Think about the choices we make and live a life that is true to our ideals and virtues. We need to realize that time, not money, is the most important thing we have. You are the only one who can decide how to spend your mornings, what hobbies to take up, and what interests to follow when you're not in a pair. This isn't about being alone just for the sake of being alone. It's about finding yourself, getting better, and finally being happy with yourself. A Stoic ruler named Marcus Aurelius once thought about how important it is to live a life that is in line with your nature. And what better way to honor who you really are than to do the things that really make your soul burn? You can enjoy these times by learning a new language, picking up that music that's been gathering dust in the corner, or just taking it easy with a cup of coffee in the morning. Every second is a chance to learn, have fun, make things, and live fully. Take some time to think about what makes you happy, what makes you want to be the best version of yourself. The really cool thing is that it's not just about doing the things you love. Stoicism shows us how important it is to think about ourselves and use our time to learn more about our place in this huge, linked world. So, while you're loving being single, take some time to think about your day, the choices you've made, and how you're making the world a better place. You'll find not only freedom, but also a deep sense of meaning and satisfaction in this unknown area of being able to use your time however you want. You're not just killing time, you're making a life full of learning, adventures, and personal growth. Remember that the things you do with your time show who you are and what you want to become. So make it matter, make it important, and most of all, make it yours. It's not just about saving money, it's about having the freedom and choices that come with being well off. Stoicism tells us to be good managers of our money, live simply, and be happy with what we have. It means realizing that true wealth doesn't come from having a lot of stuff, but from living a life that is in line with our values and nature. You have a unique chance to make sure your buying matches your inner values and goals when you're traveling the world by yourself. Think about it. You won't have to spend as much on gifts, fancy dates, or big parties that are fun, but can quickly empty your bank account. Instead, every dollar you save is one you can use to do things, and have experiences that really make your life better. Being single and financially free is a great way to make your life what you want it to be. You can use it to save for that dream trip, run your own business, or just build a nest egg for peace of mind. Where things get interesting, though, is that saving money as a single person isn't just about what you don't buy. It's also about how you spend your money. Stoicism urges us to find joy in the simple, the important, and the useful, rather than advocating a life free of happiness or satisfaction. Take a moment to think about how saving money is like investing in yourself. What kinds of things will make your mind better? What information will help you see things in a new way? What will you do that will help you grow and be happy? Being able to handle your own money gives you the freedom to live a thoughtful life, making decisions that reflect both your short-term wants and your long-term hopes and dreams. Stoic philosophy is at the core of this idea, which is about building a cushion that lets you handle life's ups and downs with calmness. The Stoic ideal of liberty and self-sufficiency is embodied when you have the financial freedom to choose how you live, what you pursue, and when to say no. Being single is a great way to see the depth and breadth of love in all its forms in a world that is crazy about sexual love. Stoicism teaches us about the value of self-love, friendship, and society by giving us deep insights into how people feel and interact with each other. This poem tells us that sexual love is lovely, but it's not the only thing that can make us happy or complete. When you're single, you have the chance and room to love yourself first and foremost. It's about learning to enjoy being alone, to value your skills, and to kind of work on your flaws over time. Self-love like this isn't about being a narcissist. It's about respecting and taking care of yourself. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius stress how important it is to be at peace with yourself and find happiness within instead of looking for it in other people's approval or love. Loving yourself is the first step, but the road doesn't end there. When you're single, you have more opportunities to make friends who mean more to you. Putting time and effort into people who make you feel good, push you, and bring joy into your life is possible. You can find the core of mutual love in these friendships. Love that is kind, doesn't expect anything in return, and is truly satisfying. Stoicism values these relationships and teaches us that a friend is not something that gets in the way of our road, but rather someone who is also on the path of life. Also, this is a great time in your life to show your love for the people around you by volunteering, taking part in community projects, or just being there for them when they need you. The Stoic principle of cosmopolitanism says that we are all part of a bigger human family and have duties to each other. This love that goes beyond the self and close social group is a good example of this. When you practice these healthy types of love, you're not just waiting for a loving partner to come along and fill a hole. You're actively adding love of all kinds to your life. This way of looking at love makes you strong, happy, and deeply connected to the world around you. It changes the story from looking for love to giving love and growing in love, which is a much more powerful and fulfilling path. A lie that goes back as far as history is the idea that marriage and relationships are the best ways to be happy. Here's a Stoic viewpoint that might change how you see this story. It's a concept that has been idealized in books, movies, and songs, giving the impression that finding the one is necessary for happiness. Happiness doesn't come from outside sources or other people, but from living a good life that is based on reason and virtue. Please don't get me wrong. Marriage and relationships can be beautiful and rich parts of life. They can be there for you and give you love and support. However, Stoic advice tells us that putting your entire happiness in the hands of someone else is not only impossible, but also unfair to both of you. Taking care of someone else's happiness is a big load for anyone to carry. Being single gives you a special chance to understand and accept this knowledge. The Stoics would say that now is the time to work on building your inner fortress, which means improving your character and finding joy and happiness in your own progress and accomplishments. Don't shut yourself off from love or friendship. Instead, make sure that your happiness isn't dependent on them. The great thing about focusing on your happiness is that it makes your relationships better. To get into a relationship for the right reasons, not because you're lonely or afraid of being single, you need to be happy with who you are and how your life is. You come to the table as a whole, happy person who is ready to share their life instead of waiting for someone else to finish it. This Stoic view on happiness and relationships also teaches us how important it is to be able to take care of ourselves emotionally. They understand that living with someone can make you happier, but it's not what makes you happy. What makes you happy is what you think, what you do, and how you react to the world around you. Just remember this Stoic advice if you're single and sometimes feel like you need a relationship because you think it will make you happy. Work on making yourself happy on the inside and living a life of virtue, meaning, and satisfaction. There is a time and a place for relationships and marriage, but they are not the only way to be happy. You are in charge of that power and duty. The more you accept this truth, the happier you will be as a single person. It also sets you up for future relationships that are better and more satisfying. When you're single, being able to take care of yourself is your strength. You have to learn to depend on yourself for your happiness and well-being, and realize that other people can make your life better, but they are not what makes you happy. This knowledge frees me up. It stops you from constantly looking for approval and company from other people to fill the gaps inside you. Instead, it tells you to focus on yourself, work on your virtues, and find peace in being alone. This Stoic way of being self-sufficient isn't about being alone or pushing people away. In fact, it's the exact opposite. You need to build a strong base within yourself so that the connections you have with other people come from want, not need. Being a full person on your own is important. You should bring worth and joy to your relationships instead of looking to them to define or complete you. Embracing self-sufficiency also makes you stronger. There will be ups and downs in your life, and being mentally and intellectually independent will help you deal with them better. To stay balanced when things go wrong, you learn to think of problems as chances to grow, just like the Stoics did. You build up this inner strength and resiliency every day that you learn more about yourself and depend on yourself. Getting out on your own financially is another part of this journey. It means being in charge of your money, choosing wisely how to spend and save, and knowing how important it is to be financially free. Stoicism teaches us that pursuing wealth for the sake of wealth is a way to unhappiness, so it gives us the courage to live simply and find joy in the little things. Focusing on what really counts and living a simple life will lead you to real wealth, which is full of freedom, choices, and chances. Freedom is more than not having to answer to or be responsible to someone else when you're single. It's about how many options you have when you're the only one that can plan your life. To live in balance with nature and our core ideals is what Stoicism teaches us about freedom. Freedom of mind, freedom of choice, and freedom from harm. This kind of freedom is one of the best things about being single. Imagine waking up every day knowing that you have complete freedom over where you go, what you do, and who you spend time with. A rare gift is this much freedom, which lets you explore the vast territory of your wants, needs, and interests without any limits. Giving in to last-minute trips, starting new hobbies, and making your own path are all part of this. But there's more to it than that. You have the freedom to question, think about, and go against social rules and standards when you're single. It's a challenge to live in a way that is true to who you are, instead of following a road that other people have set out for you. Stoicism, which focuses on inner freedom and self-mastery, can teach us a lot about how to get through this process. It shows us that real freedom comes from being in charge of how we think, what we do, and how we respond. When you apply this to the context of singlehood, it means that you have the freedom to choose your attitude toward life's ups and downs, in addition to your outward choices. You learn to enjoy being alone, not because you're lonely, but because it's a good place to grow and learn about yourself. You can be free in your relationships with other people too. When you're not in a relationship, you can make a lot of different kinds of links that make your life better in surprising ways. These could be deep friendships, important community ties, or even just casual acquaintances. These relationships give me different views, joys, and experiences that make my life better and more lively. The catch is that when you have a lot of freedom, you also have a lot of duty. Accepting the freedom that comes with being single means taking charge of your own happiness, decisions, and life path. You have to be intentional about how you spend your time, who you connect with, and how you grow as a person. Stoicism urges us to make good use of our freedom, live morally, and make a difference in the world. Imagine that you don't have to worry about what your partner wants or expects from you. Instead, you're free to enjoy a wide range of social relationships, each one a chance to learn, share, and grow. It's about appreciating the beauty of human relationship in all its forms, from deep, important talks with a new friend to fun nights out with a group of strangers. Stoicism, which pushes us to value community and see how everyone is linked, tells us to see every contact as a chance to show virtues like love, understanding, and kindness. When you're single, every social event is a chance to live up to these Stoic ideals, to make the lives of the people you meet better, and to let their ideas improve your own in return. Think about having the freedom to try out new people, countries, and ideas. It's not just about making more friends, it's also about seeing more of the world. Every person you meet has a story to tell. Their experiences and ideas can help you see the world in new ways. This is priceless in the Stoic spirit. Marcus Aurelius himself thought about how important it was to see what all people had in common. In the way you connect with others, you live out this theory by finding unity in difference. But there's more to it than just learning new things. Being able to meet a lot of different people and choose wisely is also a way to find out what really speaks to you. You have to figure out what traits you want in a partner, the kinds of relationships that make you happy, and the types of people who motivate you to be your best self. Self-knowledge is one of the most important ideas in Stoicism, and what better way to learn about yourself than by looking at the people you hang out with. Being single also forces you to be deliberate about the people you hang out with, because you can go out with anyone you want. Stoicism shows us how important it is to live with intention and make decisions that are in line with our values and goals. You get to choose not only how to spend an evening, but also who to spend your time with, what adventures to seek, and how to live your life in a way that is true to who you are. That's not what this is about. The shallow, media-driven goals of physical beauty. That's not it. It's about something much deeper and more important. It means taking the best possible care of your body as a way to honor it as the vessel that takes you through life. Stoicism tells us that self-discipline and self-care are important, not because they are vanity, but because they show respect for ourselves and the way we live. Setting patterns and habits that are good for your health, like working out daily and making healthy meals for yourself, is easy when you're single. It's about making decisions that make you healthier, give you more energy, and help you live longer. Just think about it. You don't have to worry about your partner's schedule or food tastes, so you can find what works best for you. Yoga, swimming, riding, or lifting weights are all different kinds of exercise that you can try until you find the one that makes you feel like moving is more of a joy than a job. However, why stop there? Being single also gives you the time to learn about healthy eating, good sleep habits, and how to deal with stress, all of which are important parts of a whole-person approach to health. Stoicism isn't just about the mind. It also recognizes how closely the mind and body are linked. A healthy body helps a healthy mind, which means you can think more clearly, live more fully, and do the Stoic practices of self-improvement and thought more deeply. In addition to improving your health, this journey is also a chance to practice Stoic virtues, such as focus in sticking to an exercise plan, balance in what you eat, and knowledge in understanding what your body needs. All of these show how Stoic ideals work in real life. Being aware that we can't control everything in life is important. However, we can make decisions and take steps that are good for our health. But don't forget that putting your physical health first can also help your mental and emotional health. Regular exercise isn't just good for getting fit. It's also a great way to deal with stress, improve your happiness, and make your mental health better in general. You can find a place for quiet thought, a chance to clear your mind and connect with yourself more deeply, in the tranquility of a solo run at dawn or the focused beat of a solo workout session. Taking care of your health while you're single isn't just good for you. It's a way to get ready for anything life throws at you. For Stoicism to be real, you need to be strong, not only mentally, but also physically. It means putting together a base of strength, energy, and health that will help you live a good, satisfying life. This isn't just about picking up odd hobbies to pass the time. It's about the deep journey of self-discovery that happens when you let your interests and passions lead you. At its core, Stoicism urges us to pursue lifelong learning and personal development. It's about using every chance and every moment by yourself to learn more about the world and yourself. Being single makes this exploration possible in a way that others can't. You can go wherever your interests and curiosity take you because you don't have to worry about your partner's plans or interests. Have you ever wished you could paint, play an instrument, or speak a different language? It's time now. Getting a new skill isn't just something to put on your resume. It's a step toward becoming a more interesting, satisfied, and well-rounded person. But finding new hobbies isn't just a way to improve yourself. It's also a way to get to know other people better. Every new skill or hobby opens the door to new groups, talks, and friends. It's about telling other people about your journey and what you've learned, and then learning from what they've done. Living in harmony with nature and noticing and enjoying our ties to those around us is what Stoicism sees as this sharing of experiences and ideas. Besides that, following new hobbies forces you to leave your comfort zone. It's about being open to what you don't know, getting through the discomfort of being a beginner, and learning from your mistakes. The Stoics would say that these problems are not problems to be solved, but chances to show virtues like courage, persistence, and humility. Your courage to face life's unknowns and your dedication to personal development are both on display in every new interest you explore. But let's not forget the fun and happiness that come with trying new things. For those who strive for Stoic virtue and knowledge, it can be easy to forget that part of living a good life is enjoying the little things, being excited about trying new things, and feeling good about your progress. These times are important to the variety of your life, whether they're the calm satisfaction of making a scarf, the thrill of reaching a new running goal, or the pride of cooking a meal from a food you've never tried before. As this part of our trip comes to an end, remember that being single isn't just a position. It's a great way to learn about yourself, grow, and be free. You should use big strokes of courage, interest, and strength to paint your life's canvas. Everyone feels emotions from time to time. When we're stuck in traffic, we get angry. When we think about our loved ones, we get sad. When someone lets us down or does something that hurts us, we might get mad. We have all felt the burning anger inside when we were misled, or the cold loneliness inside when we lost someone close to us. But take a moment to picture yourself standing strong in the middle of your feelings, with a calm and peaceful mind. You could find peace with this key. It's like a lifebuoy in the rough waters of life. Would you want to grab it? Stoic thought holds the key to the solution, which is a gift of time. Stoicism teaches you not only how to stay away from your feelings, but also how to accept and understand them, which lets you get past them without losing who you are. Here are 10 important things we can learn from Stoicism, which is a way of controlling your emotions that doesn't involve a lot of hard work, but through understanding and acceptance. When you enter the world of Stoicism, you will learn how to be patient and strong through every wave and task. This is an intellectual trip and an inner journey where you can find real freedom and peace in a soul harmony. Before we start Lesson 1, I want to challenge you to watch today's video all the way through and not skip any lessons. Because sometimes just one lesson can completely change the way you see things and the way you go in life. It's a time of awareness that will lead your soul to the beaches of freedom and enlightenment. Reflect before responding is the first lesson. Do you ever feel like you're emotionally stuck between two paths? The path of fast growth or the path of deep reflection? Problems and stresses in our daily lives keep coming up, trying our strength and ability to control ourselves. Thinking about what to do before moving is not only good advice, but it can also save your life in the middle of a storm of feelings. Choosing to be wise and calm before making a choice is not only a self-controllable action, but also the first step toward real mental and inner peace. One of Rome's best rulers and a well-known Stoic philosopher, Marcus Aurelius, also had to deal with personal problems and mental pressures while he was in power. His advice, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength," not only shows his theory, but also gives people who are under a lot of stress, trying to run a huge business, something to think about. Marcus Aurelius decided to carefully think about things instead of letting worry and rushed responses take over. He often asked himself what things were all about and why they happened. He was looking for inner peace instead of approval from other people. The moment he made the choice to listen to his wit and reason made him a symbol of inner strength and perseverance. In this crazy world we live in now, can we learn anything from Marcus Aurelius? How can we stop, take a deep breath, and choose to react in a healthy way instead of letting our feelings run wild? By asking these questions, we can learn more about ourselves and make changes that will help us understand ourselves better and control our emotions. When we make choices after thinking about them and being calm, the choices we make not only lessen the bad effects, but they also help us grow as people and keep our relationships healthy with those around us. Second lesson, ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? We all deal with things in our daily lives that make us feel very angry or upset, like being late for work, getting bad feedback, or forgetting about an important event. At these times, it can feel like the world is falling apart, and our minds are filled with a gloomy feeling that we can't escape. Will this matter in 5 years? Becomes a very useful question at that point. We can use this question to change how we think about things that happen in our lives and to keep our minds from getting lost in short-term problems. Let's look at an example. You're late for an important meeting because of heavy traffic. Your mind starts to fill with anger and worry. If you stop and ask yourself, will this event matter in 5 years? You start to see that the present situation may be annoying, but it won't change your life or job in the long run. This helps you calm down and get back to normal, which lets you handle the problem more logically and effectively. We should think about this question: why 5 years? Why not 2, 4, or 6 years? 5 years was picked as the time frame because it's long enough to cover a major period in most people's lives, long enough for big changes to happen in everything from jobs to relationships. But it's also not too far away for us to be able to picture and connect to it. This gives us mental freedom by letting us think about and question the long-term value of the things we do and decide now. Stoic philosophy teaches us how to control our emotions, which not only helps us deal with problems in the present, but also helps us create a strong mental future where peace and happiness are unaffected by transient changes. In this long-term race, remember that what we focus on now will decide how valuable and good our lives will be in the future. We want to know, have you recently been through anything that made you feel overwhelmed? What do you think about the question, will this matter in 5 years? Please share your story and deep thoughts in the comments. Third lesson, look at problems as chances to learn. I want to start with a question before I get to lesson 3. When you face problems, do you see them as burdens or opportunities? Every problem, according to Stoic thought, is both a stopping point and a doorway to new learning and growth opportunities. Through the lens of Stoicism, the idea of difficulty is not seen as inherently bad. Every problem, every barrier, is really a call for us to rise, to get better, and to find the strength that's already inside us. This is the way to look at problems, not as something to be fought, but as something to be used to your advantage. After facing these problems, they slowly change, like a gem being cleaned by pressure. We are also made better by going through pain and hardship. We not only learn to remain strong, but also how to use every challenge as a solid stepping stone for personal growth. Being able to deal with problems and keep going is not the same as passively accepting pain. It is fortitude. It means always wanting to find meaning and lessons in everything that happens. Once we start to see problems in a positive light, every problem turns into a lesson and a chance to learn more about ourselves and the world around us. In the end, avoiding problems doesn't lead to personal growth or happiness. Facing and getting through them does. Along with getting stronger, this process brings us peace and happiness in life. This means that when you face your next challenge, remember that it is a chance to grow and get better. The Stoic lesson I want to share with you today is to keep being positive and persistent, and to remember that every challenge is a chance to learn and get better. Take a trip to learn more about life's controls while stopping to look deeply into yourself and the world around you. Stoicism teaches us that we can't control everything and still be happy. Instead, we need to know what we can control and what we can't. In these Stoic lessons, you'll learn how to keep your emotions in check. Fourth lesson, know what you can control. Stoic thinkers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus stressed how important it is to know the difference between what we can control and what we can't. Whoever then wishes to be free, let him neither wish for nor avoid anything which depends on others, Epictetus said. We can't change everything that happens to us, but we can change how we respond to it. Now let's look into Mark's story. Mark is a project manager who knows how hard work can be. The news came like lightning on a sunny day, just as the project was entering a very important phase. A key team member was going to quit right before a very important deadline. But Mark didn't give up in fear. Instead, he learned how to calm down from the lessons of Stoic thought. He told himself that he can't change what other people do, but he can change how he reacts to it. Mark chose not to run away when things got tough. Instead, he put all of his energy into finding an answer, a replacement, and changes to the project plan to make sure everything kept going as planned. It's clear from Mark's story that when we learn to accept things, we can't change and keep our attention on what really matters, we not only stay cool, but also find sensible solutions to any issue. You should learn to accept the things you can't change and put your attention and energy into the things you can. By doing this, you not only face and beat obstacles, but you also have the chance to grow every day, becoming stronger and more grown in your work and life. What do you think about this lesson? Have you ever used this idea in your work or personal life? Say what you think in the space below the video's comments. We are often in such a hurry in life that we forget the little miracles that happen all around us. Sometimes life gets too hard, but even when things are hard and chaotic, gratitude is a source of light. This is not only a spiritual practice, it is also the key to happiness and tranquility, which gives us the strength to get through the hard times. The fifth lesson is to show thanks. Have you ever thought about why some people can smile and be happy even when things are really bad? Being thankful is the key. It's an attitude toward life, a daily choice to see and enjoy the good things in life, no matter how small they may be. Make being thankful a part of your daily life. How can you do that? Start by thinking about the good things. Every night before bed, think of 3 things you're thankful for that happened during the day. A good meal, a fun chat, or just some peace and quiet could be what it is. You can end each day with a smile and start each new day with hope. Being thankful not only makes you better, but it also makes the people around you better. It makes bonds stronger, boosts happiness, and might even make you live longer. Focusing on the good things in our lives makes us love and appreciate the moment and lessens our fears about the future. Try incorporating some of the Stoic thought into your daily activities now. Start by showing thanks every day. Not only should you think about what you're thankful for every day, you should also tell other people about it. Write down what you're thankful for today in a book, share it with a friend, or even leave a comment below this video. It's not enough to just be happy on this trip. You need to build a worthwhile life where you feel emotionally rich every day. Don't forget to tell others about your trip. Your story might motivate other people to begin their own journey. Let's work together to spread thanks and make the world a place where everyone knows and values the true worth of life. Because in the end, happiness doesn't come from outside sources. It starts inside. Think about it. When we are grateful, we open the door to freedom, where feelings and logic can dance together. That's not all. It's a way of life that helps you stay calm and in control when life gets rough. Are you ready to become one with this freeing force and view the world through the eyes of tranquility and unwavering resolve? To learn more about Stoic philosophy, where every step is a step forward in the race with oneself, click like and share this movie and let your curiosity lead the way. Lesson 6. Learn to be impartial. Imagine that you have to make a big choice at work and are feeling pressure from your co-workers, demands from yourself, and fear of failing. Start to get fuzzy in your mind. Right now, your mind tells you to briefly put those feelings aside so you can look at everything objectively and sanely. You ask yourself, do these pressures really show how valuable I am, or are they just outside forces that I can control? Epictetus once said that what bothers us is not what it is that bothers us, but how we think about it. This sentence stresses how important it is to be in charge of our ideas and feelings in every scenario. We can change how we see and respond to the world around us instead of letting things out of our control sweep us away. So, how can we live our daily lives with equanimity? First, try taking a minute every morning to think about your feelings and ideas without judging them. Next, when you're in a stressed situation, stop and ask yourself, is this feeling good for me? Is it based on truth or just assumption? By learning calmness, we can become more aware and make better choices without being swayed by bad feelings or a need to act quickly. In addition, this process teaches us how to live a worthwhile life, deal with stress, and find deep inner peace. When we learn to look at every situation without bias, we not only get better at dealing with problems, but we also become more resilient and open to new experiences. The seventh lesson is to keep a Stoic journal. In your journey to learn more about yourself and gain emotional control, have you ever felt like you were getting lost in your feelings? Keeping a Stoic journal is an important part of the Stoic way of life because it helps you think about yourself and keep your cool when your feelings get rough. Writing down your thoughts, feelings, and steps for a few minutes every day opens the door to the darkest part of your mind, where self-awareness and self-reflection become the lights that help you grow as a person. The great philosopher and emperor Marcus Aurelius once spoke through the wind and said, "Look at who they really are, the people whose approval you long for, and what their minds are really like." There's nothing better than finding this out for yourself in a journal full of thought and feeling. Not yet, though. Have you thought about what makes you stop and think? Our book isn't just a record of the past. It's also a plan of the future, where every problem is a chance to reach new heights. We learn to accept and change our feelings, see the strength that lies within us, and change our behavior in a more positive way with every line and word that we write. And don't forget that writing in a book helps us cultivate thanks, which is a cornerstone of Stoic thought. The tiny things can bring the most happiness in life. At the end of the day, ask yourself what you're thankful for the most. In the chaos of life, writing down the events in our journals is not only the best way to calm down, but it can also help us make the future more open. If you want to improve yourself and fully enjoy every moment, let the Stoic book be your best friend. I'd like to give you a small task below. Are you ready to take part in the 7-day Stoic writing challenge? Please leave a reply if you agree to take on this task. I dare you to write down your feelings, thoughts, and lessons learned every morning. After 7 days, share what you've learned or how things have changed. We often hold on to memories, experiences, and hopes, forgetting that the fact that they will fade is what makes life valuable. Stoicism kindly tells us that we find the strength to enjoy every moment, no matter how small, when we welcome change. By accepting that life changes all the time, we not only learn to let go, but also to be deeply grateful for every moment, making them into priceless gifts on our journey. 8th lesson: accept that things change over time. The idea of accepting change is not only a lesson on the path to finding one's inner self through the brilliant light of Stoic philosophy, but also a call to a beautiful and deep spiritual world. Permanence is a clear idea in many philosophy systems, but it is described as a song that praises how life is always changing. It's not a bad wake-up call, it's just a warning to enjoy and respect every moment of life. The great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "How quickly all things disappear in the universe, the bodies themselves, but in time, the memory of them." This quote is both an acceptance of the fact that life is short and a call to action. It makes us think, are we really enjoying every day, or are we just existing? Impermanence teaches us that nothing lasts forever. This doesn't have to be sad, but it can be a reason to live a more important life. Instead of seeing loss as the end, you should see it as a part of the process of healing and growing. This will help you find happiness in every moment. But how can we really accept that things change? First, notice and accept the changes that happen in your daily life. Spend some time thinking about these changes, and remember that every end is a new beginning, just like spring is the end of winter. Have you ever had a moment where the fact that something would change helped you see how valuable it really was? You can share your ideas and points of view in the comments section below. We're ready to hear you at any time. Remember that we can't change everything, but we can choose how we deal with it. Accepting that things change isn't just a lesson in acceptance, it's also a call to live a worthwhile life by loving without demands and savoring every moment. Ninth lesson: work on being self-disciplined. Being able to control yourself is the most important tool you can have. This is more than just an idea. It's a lighthouse that shows the way for people who want to find inner peace and success in the outside world. But how can we develop self-discipline and use it in our everyday lives? First, let's ask ourselves, am I really ready to give up short-term pleasures to reach my long-term goals? Self-discipline starts with having patience and being able to avoid instant urges. Self-discipline, on the other hand, needs a deep understanding of one's morals and goals. Which brings us to the second question: what are my core values and what are my most important goals? Seneca once said, "It's not that we don't have enough time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." This quote is a good lesson to keep things simple and pay attention to what's important. Giving up material wants is only one part of self-discipline. Another part is managing and directing your thoughts and actions toward higher goals. Building up self-discipline isn't easy. It takes dedication, persistence, and most importantly, knowing yourself. We can get a handle on our feelings and live a full and worthwhile life by making clear goals, figuring out our core values, and firmly pursuing them every day. True freedom, free from the chains of bad feelings and unconscious actions, can only be reached through self-discipline. Every step on this path is important and brings us closer to being our best selves. During life's storms, the key to peace and success is not big leaps, but sticking with something, especially practicing over and over again. Let's look at the power together in the last lesson, which is a key idea from the philosophy of self-discipline that will help you build a strong and meaningful life. The 10th lesson is to practice all the time. Stoic thought emphasizes the importance of constant practice on the path to finding inner peace and strength. This isn't just advice. It's a way of life that will help you become more self-aware and in charge of your emotions. As an example, think about a Stoic person who has failed. They see it as a chance to learn and develop strength and resilience rather than as a reason to despair. With each practice, they learn to handle things with more calm and not let their feelings get in the way of their thinking. This ongoing practice not only helps us deal with the problems we face in life, but it also makes our souls strong enough to not be affected by what happens in the outside world. So, have you ever thought about whether you have learned any Stoic lessons each day? How do you put the idea of practicing all the time into practice in real life? This is what every Stoic scholar should think about when they think about themselves. The answers show that the person is committed and sincere in their efforts to improve themselves. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic thinkers, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This saying has been repeated over and over again to emphasize the importance of controlling one's response to any situation. Consistent practice not only helps us handle our feelings better, it also lets us learn a lot about ourselves and the world around us. It takes unwavering dedication and hard work, but the peace of mind that comes from it is unmatched. Nobody is perfect. Everyone has times when they don't live up to their ideals, but there's a difference between someone who is flawless but tries their best and someone who is always mean. Sad to say, some people in the world only want bad things to happen to the people they care about. These people will keep hurting you and everyone else they can. This is sometimes because of traumatic events in their own pasts, and other times because of mental problems. Either way, you should learn to stay away from these people. If you know what to look for, though, there are 5 signs that the person you're working with is not helping you. This when viewed through the prism of Stoic thought, not only helps you see and accept your flaws, but it also changes the way you see and understand other people. It's not to build a wall between us, but to help us understand the world better and make our lives more peaceful and important. First, there's the need to be in charge. People always want to be in charge and have power. Maybe that need to be in charge and be in charge is an essential part of human nature. However, we arrive at a different conclusion when we look at things through the lens of Stoic thought. You can't really control other people. You can only control your own feelings and responses to the things going on around you. To be truly in charge is not an act of strength, but a display of inner strength. Understanding and accepting that the only thing we really have control over is how we see things and how we respond to them is what the Stoics call strength. Everything else is out of our hands, from other people's acts to nature disasters. When people are in a relationship, power is often hidden as love or care. When someone tries to help or protect another, they might think they're doing the right thing. That being said, this is not how love and care work. Each person can only be the master of themselves, according to Stoic thought. Controlling behavior can show up in many ways, such as unfair jealousy, requests for unfair changes, or limits on personal freedom. The controller's uncertainty and fear are shown by these actions, along with ego and a lack of a deep knowledge of what love and freedom really mean. More than that, power only causes problems and pain. Building an unseen wall between people makes it harder for them to trust and connect with each other. It affects more than just mental loss. It also affects self-esteem and growth on both sides. Stoic philosophy tells us to accept and understand things as they are instead of trying to control them. Know that everyone has the right to be free and in charge of their own life. Aim for a freer and more important life, while also focusing on taking charge of our own feelings and actions. This is often shown by the relationship between Jack and Julia. They loved and trusted each other at the start of their relationship. For some reason, though, Jack started to worry that he might lose Julia over time. Jack slowly became too much for her to handle as he tried to keep her safe from imagined risks and threats. He started to fight against some of Julia's friends, saying that they were bad for her. Jack was also unhappy with the choices she was making in her life and told her he only wanted to respect her. These acts weren't really done out of love. They were done out of fear and a need to be in charge. At first, Julia tried to understand and even change in order to please Jack, but each day brought more control and doubt. She felt like her rights and personal space were slowly being taken away from her. This led to heated fights. Julia felt slighted, and Jack was hopeless, desperately trying to hold on to the things he was most afraid of losing. The relationship grew tense and full of stress over time. Jack's need to be in charge showed that he was insecure and was also the main cause of many problems for both himself and Julia. Because Julia didn't feel like she was in charge of her own life anymore, she chose to take back her freedom and self-respect. A relationship that was once full of love and hope turned into a painful lesson in how important it is to trust others and give yourself space. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, once said, "Can you no longer see a road to freedom? It's right in front of you. You need only turn over your wrists." He meant to show that we all have the power to choose how to deal with and accept life. Are you trying to control something that you can't? Do you accept and value the freedom of others and yourself? Philosophies of the Stoics are more than just tips on how to live. They also tell us of our inner strength to face and get through tough situations. We'll talk more about how to use these lessons to find inner strength and tranquility in the next part, where we'll also talk about how to improve ourselves. The second one is the mask of charm. Imagine that you walk into a magical land by accident while getting lost in the vast maze of relationships and meetings, where the first look makes your heart race as someone suddenly captivates you with their tempting charm and beauty. This isn't just quick attraction, it's a deep-seated need to connect, to be loved and accepted, to be accepted and loved. But when you look closely at Stoic thought, you can slowly see a different picture. It shows a world where freedom and knowledge are the keys to finding the truth. We see through the shiny exterior to the real person who is full of the secrets of the people we thought had charmed us. The mask of appeal is more than just a shell. It's also a way for others to get close to and even control you. People like this often act like they care, are alert, and are always happy to help. But sometimes, people do things that seem selfless out of selfishness or even spite. Stoic philosophy tells us how important it is to carefully look at and think about both the outside world and ourselves. Stoicism gives us the courage to wonder why someone looks the way they do when we are surrounded by attractive people. Do they really care about your health and happiness, or is it just a part of a bigger plan to get what they want? There is, however, a core difference between real appeal and false attraction. It depends on what the person did and how it turned out. Kind people won't try to take advantage of their kindness. On the other hand, someone who uses charm to get what they want usually only thinks about themselves. Stoicism stresses how important it is to trust your feelings and look out for danger signs. Sometimes, while interacting with someone, the mask of attractiveness will start to come off, showing what their real goals are. Because of this, we need to stay alert and not let flashy claims or good looks fool us. Let's look at the case of Mark, a successful businessman who is well-groomed and friendly. With a happy smile and kind words, he's always willing to share his experiences or help his co-workers. But as time goes on, a truth that was hidden behind that perfect front slowly comes out. Some co-workers start to see the same behavior happening over and over again. When Mark helps, there are often unspoken demands. He once helped a co-worker finish a tough job and then hinted that they owed him a favor. He offered to lead a new work group another time, and the success of the group helped him advance in his job. These things aren't random acts of kindness. They're well-thought-out steps toward building a virtual web of debt that will help Mark get ahead over time. People around him start to feel uneasy because they know that his charming appearance could just be a mask for his true goal, which is not to help, but to control and make money off of his social relationships. Charm is an essential part of interacting with other people, whether it's real or fake. The importance of knowledge and agency, however, is something we learn from Stoic thought. This promotes personal growth and a better understanding of those around us, in addition to helping us protect ourselves from harmful effects. Your point of view is important to us. Have you ever met someone who used their charm to get what they wanted? How can we learn to tell the difference between genuine charm and dishonesty, especially in the workplace today? Please leave your comments below the movie with your ideas and feelings. In life, we often meet people who are dark on the inside, whose actions and thoughts don't seem to fit with the ideas of kindness and understanding. Because of this, identifying these harmful effects and protecting ourselves from them is both an art and a necessary form of self-defense. But how can we be sure that these signs are real? Can we all learn to see this truth and deal with it in a cool and steady way? Come with me as I talk about an important sign that you're working with a bad person and how to avoid being lied to. Number 3, not having understanding. Take the example of a CEO at work who is cold and uncaring and doesn't show concern for an employee who is having personal problems. The worker told the CEO that he is taking care of a seriously ill family member, but the CEO still wants him to work extra hours and won't let him take any time off, saying that work always comes first. This action shows not only a lack of knowledge and humanity, but also a disregard for the worth of people and relationships. CEO only thinks about the short-term rewards of the job and doesn't put the employee's health and well-being first. They don't see the employee's basic wants or humanity. This lowers the mood of the worker and causes the boss and worker to lose trust in each other, which breaks down the relationship between the two. In fact, it's more important than ever to keep a balance between reason and feeling. Stoic philosophy gives us the tools we need to deal with these problems in a useful way. In both personal and professional interactions, working with people who don't understand us is one of the biggest problems we face. This not only tries our patience and toughness, but it also makes us think about how we act and stay true to our morals and principles when things get tough. Lack of kindness shows up in actions and words that are easy to spot, but its real effects are much deeper and last longer. There is pain and stress for those who are directly affected, and the workplace becomes toxic when people don't trust each other or work together, which makes people less creative and productive. This shows that the lack of empathy has damaging effects that don't go away even if people try to accept or ignore them. The most important thing we can always control is how we respond when someone doesn't understand us. Try to look at the situation without bias and stay away from bad feelings. Try to understand and feel what other people are feeling. You'll understand that we are all going through our own problems and that kindness is the only way to get past pain and conflict. One of the great Stoic philosophers, Seneca, once said, "It is not what you endure that matters, but how you endure it." This quote shows that we have the power to choose how we respond in every situation, even when we are faced with difficulty. This not only helps us get through hard times, but it also makes us an example and strength to those around us. We will always have to deal with people who don't care about others, but by following the rules of Stoicism, we can learn to see and handle these events with awareness, patience, and kindness. This not only helps us keep our morals strong, but it also helps make the world a better place where kindness and understanding are valued and encouraged. So, when you're working with someone who doesn't have compassion, ask yourself, how can we actively practice compassion not only toward others, but also towards ourselves? What makes it hardest for us to be compassionate, and what can help us get past these problems? We hope this video was helpful to you. Thanks for reading. If you want to help us, please like and share the video with your friends. We can make our community stronger and better if we all work together. 4. The web of lies. Has your heart ever gotten tight when you saw someone acting in a way that made you think they were trying to hurt you? These people always use fear to get what they want, which is lies. They are not for the harm they cause others. Their lies become sharp weapons, a way to hide the truth and cleverly control and manage other people. Pathological lying is when someone can't stop repeating things over and over, often when they don't need to. They do this to get something, usually power, control, or to avoid taking responsibility. Changing stories all the time, sharing stories in ways that don't make sense, and acting out when asked about the truth are all signs of this behavior. When you lie at work, it can have big consequences. It not only makes the workplace less pleasant and more toxic, but it also hurts trust between co-workers, which lowers mood and productivity. Stoic philosophy suggests being composed and serious when dealing with pathological lies. It tells us not to let our feelings get in the way of being aware of and responding to their lies. Stoicism means having the courage to stay independent and not let other people's lies influence our mood or choices. Anna, a committed accountant who starts to notice mistakes in her co-worker John's reports, is a great example of how to deal with a lie at work. John makes himself look like a good candidate for a new managerial job by easily listing successes that he hasn't actually done in his project reports. John adds more information to his accomplishments at every meeting to show that he is an excellent worker. Anna was shocked and upset, but she chose not to let her feelings get the best of her. She started to quietly write down and gather proof of the mistakes in John's reports and the wrong project descriptions she knew about. Once Anna had enough proof, she set up a secret meeting with her manager and told them everything without showing that she was upset or angry. The manager chose to do a full investigation into all project reports and re-evaluate the process for evaluating employee performance after going over the information Anna gave them. Thanks to Anna's smart and wise approach, this taught John and the whole company a useful lesson about how important it is to be honest and open. We have seen the power of Stoic philosophy and learned how to deal with mean people in a smart way during our journey against the web of lies. Let's not forget that we can always stand strong and get through any problems, even when they seem impossible. As Marcus Aurelius said, the goal of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to avoid becoming one of the insane. Let us follow the road to peace and success with courage and knowledge. Let's work together to make the world a better place where respect and honesty are highly valued. Number 5. Mastery of manipulation. The art of dominance often hides in the dark, not caring about how beautiful or attractive someone seems on the outside. The soul must, however, always be ready to face hard truths, according to Stoic thought. There are many kinds of evil, and lies can be told in any way. Domination comes from wanting to be in charge, from having an insatiable need for power that drives people to come up with complicated plans and lie all the time. People who want to control others often look for ways to trick them, like how puppeteers can make toys do what they want. To avoid being lied to, one needs to improve their mind and increase their instincts. You should pay attention to the small signs, like the soft words of worry deep inside. Deceivers may use charm to get what they want, or put on a show of care to hide what they really want. Under the surface, there is a cold, planned plan, a psychological game of taking advantage of and betraying people. Getting caught in the trap of lies can shake your life up and leave deep scars. When the web of lies breaks down, people may feel trapped in a web of lies and lose their independence and sense of self-worth. Lying can break down trust and ruin relationships on a psychological level. Stoic philosophy gives people the strength to fight back against lies, webs, and traps in the face of trickery. Focusing on becoming more self-aware and meditating can help protect your spirit from the draw of lies. Stoic thinkers say that we should look for virtue and courage within ourselves because real patience is tried only when things are hard. As you work to fight lies, take a moment to think about the weak spots and deepest fears that con artists are trying to take advantage of in you. How can we learn to be smart and patient when people are lying to us? In a world full of lies, ethics shine a light on the path to self-control and deep knowledge. One can move through the rough waters of lies with reason and courage by following the lessons of Stoic philosophy. When faced with lies, make smart decisions and cultivate virtues that lead to real freedom and inner peace, as the ancient Greek philosopher Epicurus once said. We often face problems we can't plan for and people who are bad for us. However, according to Stoic philosophy, spotting the signs of a bad person is a crucial part of keeping yourself safe and discovering more about who you are. Next, we'll open a door to the soul and invite us to look deeply inside ourselves to find out what the Stoic scholar really thought about evil. Not only do we look for signs of evil, but we also look deeper into who we are. Ask yourself things like, who are we really? Or, what makes people human? Show us how to have this talk. We will not only look at the outside signs of evil, but we will also go deep into our souls to learn more about ourselves and build a more real and worthwhile life. You can find out more about your true nature by looking at an unexpected sign. In our daily lives, we share places with people from all over the world and all kinds of cultures. We will meet a lot of different kinds of people on this trip, from nice and trustworthy ones to ones who can ruin our lives. In this situation, it's very important to be aware of and stay away from people who are trying to hurt you. Stoicism is one of the oldest educational systems. It not only helps us figure out how to live our lives, but it also teaches us how to spot evil and use that knowledge in our daily lives. By learning more about this idea, we can find out what kind of person you really are by looking at 5 signs of a bad person. 1. Communication. Fraud. Bad people often act too nice and loving without meaning to. They use sweetness in their speech to hide how they really are. Stoicism shows us how to be honest and sincere. When you talk to someone, pay attention to whether what they do matches what they say. 2. Habit of blaming. Others. One trait of bad people that stands out is that they rarely take responsibility for their actions. Instead, they often point the finger at other people or the situation. According to Stoicism, we should control what we can and accept what we can't, but we should always be responsible for what we do. 3. Lack of empathy. Not being able to understand how other people feel is a clear sign that someone is bad. They only care about their own goals and don't really care about other people's feelings or wants. Stoicism shows us how important it is to have strong group ties and kindness, which are at the heart of all good interactions. 4. Abuse of power. Bad people often want to control and dominate other people. Their position or power may be abused to control others or even hurt them. Stoicism entails having the courage to use one's power wisely for the benefit of all, not to abuse or control others. 5. Too much self-love. Someone who loves themselves a lot can become selfish and not care about other people's feelings or interests. They often put their own gain ahead of everyone else's and won't think twice about trampling others to get what they want. Stoicism teaches us to be humble and put the needs of others ahead of our own. Being aware of and knowledgeable about these signs not only keeps us safe from bad people, but it also helps us build reliable and healthy relationships. Self-control, acceptance, and most importantly, living a good life are important to Stoics. When we use these lessons in our daily lives, we stay away from bad people and move toward a better, more useful life. The Stoic philosophy has taught us that one of the most important things we can do in this trip through life is to recognize and stay away from bad people. You should have learned how to spot bad people and gained more strength as a result of watching this movie. Don't forget that it's not enough to just recognize, you have to do something about it. Today's world is full of noise and hurry, so it can be hard to find ways to stand out and make real contacts. But what if I told you that the key to having a magnetic presence isn't how loud you are, but how quiet you are? This section wants us to learn together how to create a silent charm that makes people notice and remember you, even in the most quiet places. We'll talk about habits and ways of doing things that show how beautiful being yourself is, as well as unconscious communication, personal style, the right scent, proper manners, and much more. All of this is done to bring out the unique things about you in a way that is modest but very attractive. You've arrived at the ideal location if you're looking for ways to increase your attractiveness without saying a single word. Connect with these practices that can change your life right now and learn what they can teach you that can change how the world sees and feels your presence. Putting accepting authenticity at the center of the human journey makes accepting authenticity a unique trip that shows the shape of being in its best form. Authenticity isn't just a trait or a pretty face. It's the most honest reflection of a person's beliefs and values that can't be taken away. Being real in this situation isn't just a way to stand out because you're different. It's a brave call to go deep inside yourself and come out with your true face, shaped by your own experiences and beliefs, instead of a mask shaped by what other people think of you. The path to self-discovery and self-affirmation is not a straight line, and it is not always easy. If you want to stay true to your core, even when doubt and routine try to pull you away, you have to constantly look inside yourself and have strong courage. As a result, authenticity draws like a light people who see truth and depth not just as desirable traits, but also as essential building blocks for deep human relationships. Because they are based on trust and respect, these relationships go beyond the surface level of everyday exchanges. They create links that are both safe havens and places for growth and inspiration for both parties. Genuineness not only improves a person's reputation in society, but it also changes what it means to be socially influential. True influence isn't measured by numbers or short-lived fame. Instead, it's measured by how long a genuine person can change the hearts and minds of those around them. When someone expresses themselves through fashion and clothes, this fabric of silent manifestations opens up as a huge field of self-expression, where each piece chosen, each color adopted, and each texture chosen becomes a story part of the person who wears it. When it comes to fashion, dressing isn't just a matter of ego or conformity. It's a way to have a personal conversation with the world and share without words what makes each person special. In this situation, fashion goes beyond its practical purpose of covering the body and becomes a form of personal language, a visual code made up of choices and tastes that show not only who a person is, but also their life stories, beliefs, and values. So, choosing clothes isn't based on the urge to follow short-lived trends. Instead, it's based on the conscious decision to show the world who you are by using materials and shapes to show how complicated and rich your inner being is. Choose clothes that fit your body type and attitude. This is not only a way to feel good about yourself, but it also helps you learn more about yourself and boost your confidence. When you match your outer expression with your inner truth, you not only show the world the real you, but you also attract people and opportunities that are a good fit for you. This connection strengthens self-perception and presence in the world by establishing a clear unity between being and showing, between identity and the reflected picture. Fashion also gives people a way to show themselves that is open to endless exploration and discovery. It lets each person explore different parts of themselves and play with the different identities that make them up. Each piece of clothing, every odd mix, and every splash of color or pattern not only tells a story, but also encourages the viewer to delve deeper into that personal story, giving them a fuller and more detailed picture of the person behind the look. Enhancing non-verbal communication. In the vast world of human contact, communication goes beyond words and navigates the deep and often rough seas of what isn't said. Non-verbal communication, which includes body language, facial expressions, movements, and looks, is like a silent mirror that shows not only how we feel and what we want, but also how open we are to the outside world. Without saying a single word, posture, which is the foundation of non-verbal communication, says a lot. And straight and open stance not only makes us feel better about our own confidence, but it also sends a message of strength and willingness to talk, which encourages others to do the same. For the same reason, facial gestures, which show instantly how we're feeling, help us understand others' thoughts and tendencies better. In a real conversation, eye contact is what holds two people together. It's a straight line to the soul that can show sincerity, interest, and respect for each other. Maintaining eye contact that is neither avoidant nor overbearing is important for making a real connection and showing that you are fully present and paying attention to the speaker. Changing and improving these non-verbal cues is an art that takes both self-awareness and a strong sense of how people connect with each other. This kind of polish isn't about changing how other people see us. It's about making our position in the world better and more in line with our goals and ideals. By coordinating our body language with our inner voice, we become more genuine, which makes us seem more attractive and friendly to others. This process of improvement is not a goal, but a never-ending journey of self-discovery and change, where every move, look, and emotion is a chance to connect with others and with oneself more deeply. Improving non-verbal communication is, then, a practice in understanding and sincerity. It's a search for balance between being true to ourselves and being open and available to the world. Being polite and following the rules is important in social situations. When used correctly, these small but important things can make a big difference in how well people get along with each other. Etiquette and good manners are not just old-fashioned rules or pointless routines. They are the silent language of respect and care, a delicate dance that helps people get along with each other in a way that is both dignified and graceful. Using proper manners is a way to show that you respect other people. It means understanding how sensitive other people are and being able to change how you act to make others feel better. This attention to detail in social settings not only makes it easier for people from different backgrounds and views to get along, but it also makes life nicer and more fair for everyone. Therefore, having good manners is more than just following the rules or social norms. It shows that you are well-mannered and aware of the subtleties of getting along with others. When someone stands out for their politeness and good manners, it's clear that they care about social order and have a deep understanding of how people interact with each other. People see them as more important because of this, and it makes them more admired and respected, which can lead to deeper and more meaningful relationships. Using good manners is more than just a way to make people like you more. It shows how beautiful your soul is. It shows that you are kind on the inside and really want to help make the world a better place where everyone feels appreciated and respected. When we use good habits and pay attention to the little things in our interactions, we stand out not just for how elegant we look, but also for how we are as people. This gives us a beauty that goes beyond looks and gets to the heart of human relationships. Going the extra mile with manners is a way to make us all think about what we can do to make society more polite and civilized. It is a personal trip to a better understanding of how important it is to respect each other and care about the needs and feelings of others. It is a road that leads to being known not only for being there, but also for the quality and honesty of how we connect with the world. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments if you like the lessons. I'm interested in what you think. Let's keep being present in the passing scenery of our daily lives, which is full of distractions and the constant need to get things done. Being truly present stands out as a place of honesty and relationship with other people. In its best form, being present is more than just being in the same place as someone else. It means giving our full attention to the people we're with in the present moment. Giving your full attention to the present moment is a sign of respect. It sends a silent but powerful message that the time and experience you're sharing are important. Being present is a form of resistance, especially in a time when attention is easily split. It's a return to the basics of human interaction, where listening means more than just hearing what's said. It means understanding what's not said, sensing the emotion that runs through the words, and realizing that we are all human. Active listening is more than just hearing. It's an interaction that supports the other person and makes them feel seen and heard in their wholeness. It helps relationships grow, because when someone feels truly heard, A space of trust and openness is formed, which makes it possible for a deeper and more meaningful connection to form. Furthermore, being able to hold a talk without getting sidetracked by physical or mental distractions, like constantly wanting to use electronics or thinking too much about the past or future, shows respect and care. It shows that you value not only the words you share, but also the other person's time and presence, which is something that is much more valuable in this fast-paced world. Being present not only improves our social perception, making us more approachable and appealing to others, but it also improves our internal perception, letting us live life more fully and consciously. By practicing present, we let in the richness and complexities of human relationships. We can find beauty and meaning in small things that we might not notice otherwise. Sharing yourself is an art that balances on the fine line between being truly open and protecting a holy inner place. It's important not to share everything about yourself because relationships are so complicated. Hide and seek with the truth is not the point of keeping a certain amount of mystery around yourself. The point is to carefully craft your story so that self-revelation doesn't happen all at once, but rather as a calm stream that slowly reveals its depths. These careful choices about what to share protect us from being too open, but they also invite people to be curious and genuinely interested. In contrast to the idea of complete openness, which can weaken the relationship itself, surprise encourages research and a desire to learn more about the other person. It means that there are layers below the top that haven't been found yet, unexplored areas that could add new findings and reveals to the journey we're all on together. Being careful about what you share about yourself is a natural way to build relationships, because each piece of personal history you share builds trust. This method of slowly revealing things lets relationships grow at their own pace, building a shared interest that gets stronger over time. So, the level of desire isn't just based on how much information is shared, it's also based on how good the relationship is that grows as each new layer is revealed. So, adding a bit of mystery isn't a way to hide or trick people. It's a way to celebrate how complicated people are. Being aware that we are complex beings with a lot of different sides that can't be fully understood in a single meeting or time. Not only does this method respect each person's privacy and psychological and emotional space, but it also values the slow process of getting to know someone, seeing the process of discovering each other as an important part of closeness. By keeping some things mysterious, we also urge people to keep talking and exchanging ideas, which keeps the spark of interest and wonder alive. This subtle game of showing and hiding, of knowing and being known, makes relationships stronger by adding a level of depth and complexity that will not only keep the spark alive, but also build respect and understanding as each layer of mystery is carefully revealed. Immersing yourself in a world of writing and information to develop your literary culture. The growth of a literary culture is essentially a never-ending trip through faraway places, bygone times, and different points of view. Explore different cultures through books, languages, and close attention to current events. This not only gives us information, but also the tools we need to understand the richness of human difference. This literature trip is more than just learning facts or passively reading stories. It's a conversation with the world that never stops, a way to get close to the many sides of the human experience. Having a mind that is open to new ideas and wants to understand the subtleties of different languages and countries is important for developing a soul that is at ease with all of life's experiences. Being knowledgeable about many topics is not only a sign of intelligence, but also a sign of respect for the world's complexity and the many views that exist in it. As a result, everyone understands that every country, language, and current event is an important part of building worldwide understanding. This willingness to be open and respectful of differences not only makes our talks more interesting and full of complexity, but it also broadens our understanding by letting us see things from other people's points of view. When we use different kinds of information in our conversations, we not only keep people interested, but we also build bridges over gaps of ignorance and unawareness. Every talk is a chance to share and learn something new, a place where respecting differences leads to mutual growth. The academic appeal that comes from this isn't just showing off how smart you are, it's the chance to interact with, question, and think about the world's complicated fabric. So, building a literary culture is a way to get ready for global governance. It's a way to become more aware of things that affect more people. This process not only makes us more interesting and knowledgeable to talk to, but it also makes us more complete people who can navigate the world with a better sense of how beautiful variety and the wealth of human knowledge are. When you put empathy and kindness at the center of your interactions with other people, they become life-giving forces that weave together the core of what it means to be truly linked with another person. Empathy is the capacity to put oneself in another person's shoes, to feel with one's heart and comprehend with one's mind the world from that person's point of view. These traits not only bring people closer together, but they also make it safe for them to talk about their feelings without worrying about being judged. Vulnerability is not seen as a sign of weakness, but as a way to connect with others more deeply. Having empathy and compassion is a celebration of our shared humanity. It's a way of recognizing the struggles, joys, sadness, and dreams that make up the human experience. By knowing and being there for others, we show that their feelings are real and that they don't have to go through their problems alone. By building walls of trust and closeness that can survive the storms of hardship, the act of sharing and understanding feelings improves human ties. Empathy and kindness make it easier to build relationships that matter to you because they bring out love and understanding. Meaningful in this case goes beyond the surface, hitting a level of connection where support, acceptance, and growth are the most important things for both people in the relationship. People understand that deep down we all want to be understood, respected, and loved, and that understanding and kindness are the best ways to give and receive these valuable gifts. Empathy and kindness are more than just virtues to admire. They are ways of living that should be incorporated into all of our relationships, big and small. These people push us to see beyond our own wants and needs, to pay attention to both what is said and what is not said, and to act not because we have to, but because we really want to help other people. Accepting humor, that spark of joy in the heaviness of everyday life, is an essential part of the art of connecting people. Humor isn't just an add-on for conversation, it's a way to bring people together and break down the walls we often put up around ourselves, whether they're made of shyness, reserve, or just being uncomfortable around other people. By using fun in our conversations, we not only make it easier for people to talk to each other, but we also add love and humanity to them, making a space where being honest and open can grow. Funny things are great because they can be used by anyone and can also be tailored to a specific person. There's no need to try to be the funniest person at a party in order to gain from this great social tool. Just a few well-placed comments or wise observations wrapped in humor can brighten the mood and make people feel more friendly and open. When used correctly, humor doesn't mean to make fun of or put down the other person. Instead, it celebrates our shared humanity, flaws and all. Being able to laugh together and share a real moment of happiness is a strong sign of connection. It brings people together by giving them a story they both remember. This memory can help build stronger, longer-lasting bonds. Laughter isn't just a way to break the ice in this way. It's also a way to keep making friends that you want. People naturally want to be around people who can make them feel good and make their lives lighter, especially when they are stressed out and worried. But it's important to remember that funny jokes work best when they relate to the audience's feelings and situation. To do this, you need to be able to read the surroundings well and know what is acceptable and what can be told. Using humor in a socially acceptable and accepting way shows not only social intelligence, but also care and respect for other people's feelings. This is an art that, when learned, makes social interactions a lot better. Taking care of yourself in the big picture of daily life, where challenges and demands are woven into a web of tasks, shines like a light of self-esteem and strength. You shouldn't think of taking care of yourself as a treat or a pleasure. It's a basic need that shows you understand how important it is to keep your body and mind in order. By putting self-care first, we give ourselves the tools we need to handle life's sometimes rough waters with ease and strength. Taking care of yourself includes a lot of different things, from eating well and working out regularly to finding time to be alone and think. Doing these seemingly easy things can help you feel good about your own self-worth and show that you care about your health and well-being. This determination not only leads to better health, but also to a noticeable boost in mood, energy, and liveliness, all of which are important parts of having a magnetic and attractive presence. Taking care of our bodies gives them what they need to work at their best, letting vital energy flow easily and reviving every cell and movement. In the same way, taking care of our mental health is like planting a garden inside ourselves that brings peace and strength so that the flowers of self-acceptance and happiness can grow. This balance between body and mind gives you a glowing look and an air of well-being that draws people to you naturally, making a vibe that makes you want to connect and interact. So, self-care is more than just taking care of yourself. It's a statement of purpose, a sign that you're on a road of growth and self-improvement. It sends a clear message to the world that we value our lives and want to live the most satisfying and healthy ones possible when we spend time and energy taking care of ourselves. More than that, taking care of yourself makes other people realize how important it is to do the same, leading to everyone's health and happiness. It's a big deal to choose self-care in a world where stress and not taking care of yourself are common. It's a step toward a healthier and happier culture that will last. By fully committing to self-care, we not only benefit ourselves, but we also help make the world a better place where health and energy are valued and encouraged. Because of this, taking care of yourself is a key to a fuller and more important life, both for yourself and for the people you share your trip with. Getting along with others while still giving them space for freedom and self-respect is a tricky part of human relationships that needs to be learned in order to build healthy, worthwhile relationships. It's not a game of making things scarce. It's a real way of showing that you value your own time and energy, knowing that your presence, both physical and mental, is a valuable and limited resource. You show that you respect yourself and your needs by choosing not to be available all the time. This sets healthy limits that not only protect your well-being, but also make people value your time and presence more. This act of valuing yourself makes relationships feel more meaningful and exciting, making every moment you share with others more meaningful and rich. So, finding the right mix between being available and growing your freedom is like dancing a fine line that needs to be done with awareness and purpose. It means understanding how important it is to take care of relationships with other people, while also respecting the need for private space to grow, think, and start over. This balance not only enhances the quality of relationships, but it also boosts self-esteem and liberty, which are crucial for creating a genuine and magnetic presence. By actively controlling your availability, You also encourage others to think about how important it is to value and respect someone else's time and energy. This creates an environment of mutual respect and exchange. This way of interacting with others in a thoughtful and respectful way makes relationships stronger by making each person's company seem like a gift to be treasured instead of an endless resource to be ignored. When was the last time you took a break and thought about yourself? You might have had a massage, spent the morning shopping at your favorite stores, or lost yourself in a new movie. You definitely put down your phone and paid attention to yourself. We can get caught up in the daily grind, but you may not have done that in a while. That makes complete sense. You might be very busy with a lot of things at work and at home. Because you're always there for your friends, family, and co-workers when they need you, you might never say no to what they ask. You enjoy your family and friends a lot, but things can get out of hand if you forget about other parts of your life. You might be tired, cranky, or even upset with the people you care about. You need some time away from everything, and it might even be good for your happiness. Giving people healthy limits will help you take care of yourself and make sure they treat you with respect and kindness. They will all help you reprioritize yourself, which is something you seem to have lost for a long time. First, take a look at yourself. One of the most basic and deep ways that Stoic thought can help you become a better person and grow up is to look at yourself every day. Give yourself some time to think about what you did, how you felt, and what you thought. You can become more self-aware by asking yourself questions like, what good have I done today? What could I have done better? Do my actions match my true values? This daily self-examination is also a deep dive into our minds that helps us figure out our strengths and weaknesses. It's easier to grow and improve ourselves when we know where we stand. Self-examination also keeps us from comparing ourselves to others and competing with them for no reason. The recognition or praise of others doesn't matter. What matters is us and our trip. It's like a lighthouse that lets us see and measure life through our own eyes. We're not looking for quick fixes or easy answers when we ask ourselves hard questions and look ourselves in the eye. We're going slowly and carefully to get to know ourselves better and love ourselves more. Being honest with yourself is not only a way to get better, it's also a way to live a worthwhile life where you're always trying to be the best version of yourself. Don't forget that every little step forward is a big step toward freedom and happiness. Every day, our problems, work, and relationships make us forget about ourselves. Things inside and around us are making more noise, which makes our minds tired and want to leave. Stoicism has taught me something important. I learned to be aware of my feelings and thoughts without judging them when I'm alone with my thoughts. When things get crazy, it's easy to forget who we are and what's important to us. Our happiness and growth depend on us taking the time to look inside ourselves. It's better to live a more real and important life when we think about our skills, flaws, ideas, and goals. Start being more self-aware by not judging your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors as you watch them. You should pay attention to how you act in different scenarios and try to find trends. The first step to getting to know yourself better is to be aware of who you are. Find out what you believe and what you value. Think about the beliefs that help you make decisions and do things. Ask yourself if the values you hold now are true to who you are or if they were changed by outside forces. Make sure you're living in line with who you really are by getting in touch with your core values. Accept the flaws you have. Know this: neither you nor anyone else is perfect. Being kind to yourself and strong comes from accepting your flaws. Instead of trying to be perfect, which you can't do, focus on making progress and getting better. Deal with the things you think and fear that are stopping you. You can't reach your full ability until you face your fears and doubts. Take small steps out of your comfort zone and change the way you think about these bad habits. Getting over your fears is a big part of becoming stronger and growing as a person. Be thankful and take care of yourself. Thank the people and things that have helped you become the person you are now. Do things that are good for your body, mind, and spirit. You should be proud of your small wins and nice to yourself, no matter what they are. By taking a kind and honest look at yourself, you can begin a process of learning about yourself and making changes. Accept the trip and keep in mind that self-reflection is a way of life that leads to greater self-awareness and happiness, not a goal. The second thing is to be aware and meditate. Zen and awareness are good for your mind, and they can also help you get better and learn more about yourself. They're not just techniques. They lead us to new ways of seeing and interacting with ourselves and the world around us. We might begin our meditation trip in a quiet place, away from the noise and confusion of daily life. Now is the time when your mind and you can explore without worrying about what other people think or expecting from you. You have the power to take charge of your ideas and feelings here. It's not simple. You need to push through it, be dedicated, and exercise every day. But this work that never ends is what lets you keep your mind in check and your peace of mind, even when things outside of you change it. When you meditate, you pay attention to the present moment without judging it. This is called being aware. When we practice mindfulness, we learn to take a step back and notice our thoughts, feelings, and experiences without letting them rule or make us feel stuck. This helps us understand that our thoughts and feelings are only temporary states that we can notice without identifying with them or reacting to them right away. Mindfulness and meditation help us take charge of not only our feelings and thoughts, but also how we respond to the world around us. We learn how important it is to focus on ourselves instead of having competition and comparison with other people run our lives as we gain confidence and stay on this road. Not only does this make us feel better inside, but it also gives us more freedom and knowledge about ourselves. The Stoic way of thinking is like a fun trip into our own minds. Concerns, stresses, and problems from the outside world often draw us in. These things drown the soul in the vastness of our feelings and thoughts and make us forget how strong we really are. Join the conversation in the area below. Please let me know if you meditate or practice awareness and think it has changed your life. Number 3. Make goals that you can reach. You need to make plans every day if you want to work on yourself. The Stoics say that we should set goals that we can reach, like getting better at a skill or building a character trait. You can give your life value and direction by setting goals that you can reach. The Stoic theory stresses how important it is to have a worthwhile life and be open to the problems that come up. Realistic goals can include, for instance, learning a new skill, developing a good habit, or even just being more patient and kind in relationships. Anna, who works in an office, chose to get better at talking to people. She didn't want to become a motivational speaker right away. Instead, she wanted to get better every day. For 15 minutes every morning, she read and thought about communication principles. Then, she used what she had learned in her daily life, in meetings, and with co-workers. Anna always prayed and thanked God for her success every night before she went to bed. Anna used prayer as a time to think about herself and be grateful for the good changes in her life. She not only learned to be patient and accept herself, but she also learned to be grateful for what she had. We can learn from Anna's story that setting attainable goals not only helps us concentrate on ourselves, but also makes us happy and thankful for what we have in life. These well-thought-out goals help us live a worthwhile life every day by helping us get better. By making daily progress on personal growth and setting goals that are attainable, we not only strengthen our inner strength, but also learn to be optimistic and grateful, which are essential building blocks for a happy and fulfilling life. Remember that we are one step closer to being the best version of ourselves every day when we pray and be thankful. Because the world is always changing and there is a lot of stress and anxiety, we often look for comfort in other things, like work, relationships, or things we own. However, the peace we seek comes from inside. In every scenario, we learn to be in charge of our ideas, feelings, and emotions. It's important to grow as a person and as a worker by setting goals. On the other hand, making goals you can't meet can make you give up. If you want to keep going, you should make goals that you can actually reach. To start, make your goals clear. Whether your goal is to get in better shape, move up at work, or grow as a person, be clear about what you want to achieve. Make sure you know what you want. Take a look at your tools. Check out the time, money, skills, and help that you can get. It's more likely that you will meet your goals if they are reasonable for you. Separate your big goals into smaller tasks or points that you can reach. Getting things done this way makes the big goal less scary and helps you see how you're doing. Set due times that make sense. Take some time to think about how long you really think it will take to reach your goals. Think about what else you need to do when you set due dates. If your goals are too hard to reach, you might get burned out and let down. Do not be strict. Things can change in the course of your life. Always be ready to change your mind or your plans if you need to. You can get through problems and stay on track with your goals if you are open. If you use these 5 tips and set goals that you can reach, you'll have a better chance of succeeding. You'll also stay inspired and proud of your progress as you go. 4. Getting closer to peace of mind. This power is magic. When you work on your inner peace, it can become a stronghold that keeps you safe through life's storms and a lighthouse that helps those around you find their way. This has happened to me before. My family gradually falls into a state of tranquility when I find it, which makes my daily problems and work seem insignificant. This is an important fact from Stoic thought that can be proven. You can find true peace by focusing on yourself and making sure that your actions and choices are in line with your goals. That's not being selfish. That's making a strong base for peace for everyone, not just yourself. This is shown well by Galvin's story. Galvin is a normal office worker who found peace within himself, not in the world around him. He meditates for a few minutes every morning to calm down and think about what's important. He learned to live in the present because he was in charge of his thoughts, feelings, and actions. This is true even though everyone around him tells him to worry about the future or feel bad about the past. He doesn't let his bad feelings take over when things go wrong. Instead, he stays in the moment. The question, "Is this within my control?" helps Galvin learn how to let go of things he can't change and focus on doing good things with the things he can. Galvin trains to show us that when we take care of our inner peace, we not only find happiness and peace for ourselves, but we also grow as people and become a strength to those around us. This shows that inner peace can turn life's problems and trials into chances to learn, grow, and make good changes. The courage to deal with problems is number 5. There are many risks and hard times in life. Life is always putting our inner strength and toughness to the test. We can deal with problems more effectively when we learn from Stoic philosophy's lessons on courage and persistence. How, then, do we keep this strength even when things are worst? A lot of encouraging stories about people who overcame pain and suffering with faith and great strength are shared every day on social media. You might be curious about how you can do the same thing after reading these stories. Do you have the courage to deal with your small problems while others can handle big ones? The lives of brave and amazing people like Nick Vujicic and Jack Ma show us how to be strong. They also show how courage and self-belief can turn hard times into drive, to keep going and get better. Issues are not only a way to grow as a person, but also to share what you've learned and get ideas from other people. When we keep going, we find the huge power we have inside us to get through anything. Stoic ideas show us that we all have amazing skills that can help us deal with and get through tough times. The courage, confidence, and persistence that these ideas produce make up a great melody that pushes us to not only fight life's windmills, but also to find meaning and value in every step of our journey. The courage to face difficulties is crucial. When we face our troubles head-on, we not only get through them, but we also find our strength and the room to grow. This lesson takes truth into account. To fix a problem, the first thing that needs to be done is to find it. Running away from or denying the problem only makes it last longer and often get worse. We can make a plan of action once we face the truth and understand what the problem is and how big it is. Learn to deal with pain. A lot of the time, we have to leave our comfort zones to fix problems. We need to be able to handle pain, fear, and worry. We become stronger and better able to handle tough situations when we accept pain. When bad things happen, don't deal with them by yourself. You don't have to be brave. If you need to, you can ask for help. Ask family, friends, teachers, or other workers for help. They can give you advice, support, and a different point of view. Remember that it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. Instead of focusing on how big the problem is, think about how to solve it. Work hard to find solutions to fix it. Separate the issue into manageable parts. Think of what you could do and how you could do it differently. The power to do something good comes from keeping an attitude that is focused on answers. Grow and learn. Everything bad can teach you something and help you grow. Think about what you learned and how you can use that to fix issues in the future. When things go wrong, see them as chances to learn and be proud of your growth, no matter how small. Not being sure of yourself doesn't mean you're strong enough to deal with problems. It means you know what you're afraid of, but still do it. If you can handle truth, pain, and support, you can face life's problems with strength and drive. Think about ways to solve problems and see them as chances to grow. Remember that being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you're ready to act, even though you're scared. Sixth, getting better, gaining strength, and staying strong. You need to be able to do more than just weather storms. You need to be able to turn problems into chances and lessons into chances. First, let's agree that our brains and willpower are wonderful tools that we can use. You will no longer see problems as problems when you accept this truth. Instead, you will see them as chances to grow as a person. Resistant doesn't mean you never fall. It means you can get back up every time you do. You should never let life's dust blind you. To build perseverance, it's also important to accept and understand others. Life is full of things that happen for a reason, so try to keep a calm mind. According to Stoic philosophy, this means that every task you face isn't just a material win, but also a spiritual turning point that increases your courage, fortitude, and maturity. Getting stronger is a process of getting to know yourself better. Patience and courage are things you build up in your own mind and heart, not from outside sources. You have to question and answer yourself, which helps you see that you have a choice in every situation. That choice is what makes you strong. Last but not least, keep in mind that meeting problems head-on isn't always necessary for endurance. It's not enough to just lift weights to get stronger in a world full of mental and physical obstacles. You need to build grit, determination, and drive as well. To get stronger, you need to do more than just get stronger. You need to strengthen your mind and body so you can handle the tasks of life with poise and confidence. To begin, make your goals clear. Take some time to think about what getting better means to you. Does it mean getting better physically, keeping your mind tough, or both? Making goals that are clear and doable will help you stay on track and keep you inspired. It's important to train regularly. When you work out, practice focusing, or do hard things, be steady. Work that is focused and done regularly over time leads to results. Believe that you can move forward and accept the process. When you leave your comfort zone, don't give up. You grow. Be brave and push yourself past what you think you can do. Know that pain can help you grow, whether it's when you lift heavier weights or when you face your fears. Pay attention to how your body and mind are connected. It's common for mental toughness to lead to physical strength and the other way around. You can help yourself with both by meditating, thinking, and talking positively to yourself. Take defeat as a lesson. It's okay to fail. It's a chance to learn and get better. Let failures teach you something. Change the way you do things and keep going. Remember that being strong doesn't mean you'll never fail. It means you'll always get back up better. People who follow these 5 rules will not only get stronger, but they will also become tough and driven, which will help them deal with life's problems. Keep in mind that building strength is a lifelong process that promotes development and strength. 7th, be thankful every day. In its deepest form, thankfulness isn't just a virtue. It's a deep awareness of how much God has given us. It's the holy art of noticing all the good things in our lives every day, letting go of the darkness of unhappiness and welcoming the light of thanks. Instead of focused on the holes we feel in our lives, we are told to look inward and make it a habit to be thankful for all the good things that have happened to us. Besides that, thanks is like a lighthouse in the storm of trouble. It protects our minds and hearts when things get hard. Let's not give up. Instead, let's look inside ourselves to find the source of joy that is already there. There is a dim ray of thanks that lights our way and takes us to peace, even on the darkest nights. When we are truly thankful, that's when we find the true core of resiliency. We find strength in our unwavering belief that everything, good and bad, has a bigger purpose. People who want to know the truth should listen to the ancient knowledge of Stoicism and the holy lessons of their faith. They should also fully understand how thanks can change things and give it their all with an open heart. Not only does practicing thanks make us feel better, it also opens up a world of inner peace and divine kindness for us. 8th, putting virtue first. We should put these ideas first in everything we do and choose. It's important to know these virtues and follow them every day, no matter what. This is what it means to focus on ourselves every day. Take the case of someone who steals your idea and says they came up with it. This is a test of how fair and strong you are. You choose to follow the ideas of Stoicism instead of getting angry and stressed. You know that getting mad will only make things worse. Because you told your friend the truth about the problem and were fair, you showed courage. This way, you not only show that you are fair and reasonable, but you also keep your pride and believe in your own worth. Putting morals first in everything you do will help you live a worthwhile, happy life that isn't affected by other people or things. This demonstrates that putting virtues first not only helps us live in line with our real nature, but it also aids in the development of positive relationships with both ourselves and others. We should always put our virtues first and think about ourselves, as this shows. Maybe the most natural thing we can do is to just be in the moment. There are changes in our lives that don't always go the way we want them to. To deal with life's changes, one must have courage and patience. Let's start by talking about what ideals are and why they're important so that we can accept the present. Having virtues means having good moral traits or qualities such as honesty, kindness, bravery, and integrity. To put morals first when making choices, you must first understand how important they are. Think about what you believe in. Think about your own values and pick out the traits that most appeal to you. Try to remember times when you liked how someone behaved or were proud of something you did. What values were at play? Being aware of yourself helps you make sure that what you do is in line with what you believe. Figure out how to make moral choices. If you have to pick, put your ideas ahead of making quick money or having an easy life. When you do something, think about what it means in terms of ethics and try to make decisions that are moral. This could mean giving up short-term gains for the sake of morality and happiness in the long run. Show others how to do it. Show others how to behave by always being polite when you talk to them. Anything you do in a relationship, at work, or in the neighborhood says a lot about who you are. Setting a good example motivates others to do the same in their own lives. The first step toward putting virtue first. Putting virtue first is a way to live a meaningful life in a world where people are often motivated by power, self-interest, and getting what they want right away. Honesty, kindness, and ethics are ideals that people should put first. This not only makes them better people, but it also makes society more moral and peaceful. This study's goal is to find out what virtues are and how they affect our decisions, relationships, and, in the end, our sense of purpose. Truth, kindness, and long-lasting happiness can all be yours if you make virtue your main guiding principle. You can promise yourself to grow if you think about it and do it. 9. Being able to enjoy the present. Being able to handle the tough lessons is a strong reminder to enjoy all that life has to offer. Being able to accept everything, from happiness to troubles, is a great thing because the world is always changing. We should use ways to break free from the chains of decisions and demands to spread peace and harmony instead. To be accepting is not only to act in the outside world, but also to think and feel that way. It's not about not giving up and letting fate happen. It's about having a deep understanding of nature and being able to deal with everything that comes your way. You act from a deep spiritual place when you give up or accept the truth. It doesn't mean giving up. As we accept things as they are, we should remember what Jesus told us. One way to accept your fate is to believe that it will work out. Another way is to accept your fate by not fighting it. We learn that when we accept things as they are, we are also having faith in God's good plans and waiting for them to come together. Accepting the present moment not only brings tranquility and peace to the soul, but it also helps you grow as a person. If we as adults accept things as they are, we don't have to worry about the future or carry the weight of the past. Still, they make you smarter and more willing to learn something new from everything. When you learn to fully enjoy the present moment, you make room in your heart for freedom and peace. Also, don't forget that knowing yourself means understanding that each moment is a gift from life. This is a key step toward freedom and happiness. Stoic philosophy teaches us how to control our wants and needs so that we can find inner peace and avoid distractions. We're often caught in a storm of wants and dislikes, pulling us away from the peace. The real lesson is that we need to control our lives instead of letting them control us. Let's look at how Stoic ideas can help us deal with our wants, needs, and dislikes so that we can focus on ourselves, peace, and happiness. 10th, taking care of what you want and don't want. It's both a way of life and a strong way to deal with the biggest and most important problems in life. To do this, it looks for happiness and direction in life. In Stoicism, one of the most important lessons is that we need to learn how to stay away from the mind and deal with our wants. We are constantly stuck between our own wants and the needs of other people in a world full of problems and wants. He thought that we could be free and happy even if we couldn't change things that were out of our hands. We can get those things if we accept them and pay attention to them. Answer: We can change what's in our minds. Think about joining an art show where you need to look good. It's great that the judges liked what you've been working on for months and think your art is amazing and beautiful. There's something wrong with the way things are going where you don't get the respect you deserve. What do you believe the judges will do? You will learn from sophisticated thought that other people's approval doesn't make you happy. It works if you accept and value yourself. Instead of giving in to sadness and the need to be recognized, the drive to keep improving your skills, being independent, and getting to know yourself makes it easy for you to shine. In spite of what may happen or what you can't change, having faith in yourself will lead to peace and happiness. Life is full of problems and challenges that we can't change. We have to accept that fear and anxiety are normal parts of life because that's how things work. Every day, if we follow these rules, we can focus on getting things done and being more calm and even. You'll never lose sight of the truth about life's light and freedom, the breeze of fears and wants that don't matter. After these 10 lessons on being stoic about focusing on what we can change, you will learn new ways to be deeply happy and feel that way for a long time. Always keep in mind that we have the most power inside us if we are honest about it and focus on what we can change. There's more to life than just getting better. It's also about getting along with and liking everyone. Keep that in mind all the time. Things we can change and things we can't change during hard times. It will take a lot of strength and help to get through all of your problems. Most of the time, we try to escape the tough questions that make us feel uncomfortable and threaten our daily habits. However, what if I told you that these tough questions hold the key to your fullest potential? It's not enough to just push the limits. We need to tear them down. We will now explore the world of Stoicism, an old but still important theory that changes not only how we think, but also how we live. Stoicism tells us that small, planned steps lead to big changes. It's not about completely changing your life quickly. Instead, it's about making small, well-thought-out changes that add up to big changes over time. This way of thinking doesn't push for big, quick changes, which can be too much and can't last. Instead, it stresses how important small steps toward growth are. Everything you do is a small step toward becoming a better person. Zeno of Citium, who is known as the founder of Stoicism, said that the best way to improve yourself is to carefully lay each stone on the road one at a time. How then does one begin small? In a practical sense, it might be as easy as setting aside 5 minutes every morning to write or think, both of which are deeply rooted in Stoic tradition. These times of reflection help you make sure that the things you do each day are in line with your core values. This gives you a sense of inner peace and clarity that sets the tone for the rest of your day. Changing how you respond to outside stresses could be another small but important step. Stoics work on changing how they think about things to control, how they react to things they can't change. This means taking a moment to calm down when you're angry or upset and picking an answer that shows you are cool and logical instead of acting on impulse. Starting small also entails adopting the principle of Stoic acceptance, which entails accepting and responding to the present moment rather than wishing it were different. This could mean being able to handle a small problem with ease or being aware of a difficult feeling without letting it control what you do. The more you focus on these small, controllable parts of your life, the more stoicism you'll see in your daily life. The Stoic idea that real progress is a careful and measured trip, not a race, is embodied by each small step you take to strengthen your dedication to self-mastery and ongoing growth. A Stoic view says that anxiety is caused by how we think about things, not by the things themselves. This point of view gives you power because it means you are in charge of your own emotions, no matter what is going on around you. Stoicism teaches us to break down our anxiety, figure out where it comes from, and question the beliefs that make it worse. A lot of the time, anxiety comes from wanting to control things that we can't: the future, other people's thoughts, and the result of every event. Stoicism, on the other hand, holds that our own actions, thoughts, and responses are the only things we can truly control. When anxiety starts to set in, stop and think. Are you worried about something you can't change? Instead, think about what you can do to react, which is always up to you. This change isn't about shutting down, it's about changing the way you see things. Doing this Stoic split on a daily basis can help a lot with anxiety. It means developing a mental practice that lets you recognize your fears, figure out how true they are, and then shift your attention to things you can do to change the situation. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius often told themselves to tell the difference between outside events and their own responses to them. This helped them focus on self-mastery, even though life was unpredictable. Stoicism also recommends proactive mental training through exercises like premeditatio malorum, in which you think about the worst things that could happen and get mentally ready for them. Even though it might not make sense, facing your fears in your mind weakens their hold on you. This lowers your anxiety by letting yourself get used to the idea that you can handle problems. Adopting these Stoic habits will help you build mental toughness that will protect you from future worries and give you the power to enjoy the present more. Every moment of anxiety is a chance to practice Stoicism, to turn something that could paralyze you into a chance to grow as a person and be stronger. Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius knew that order helps us be more in line with our virtues and frees us from the chaos of making decisions every day. A good habit is not a prison, but a structure that helps us reach our most important goals and follow our most important values. Think of your daily routine as a garden. Just like a garden needs regular care to grow, the virtues of knowledge, justice, courage, and temperance, the four main pillars of Stoicism, need regular care to grow in your habits and practices. First, make a list of times during the day when you can do things that will help you develop these virtues. It could be meditating in the morning to improve your peace, knowledge, and temperance, or it could be putting aside time to help others, which improves your justice and courage. But how do you actually make this a habit? Start with small promises that you can keep. If you don't like getting up early, don't put your hardest jobs at dawn. Instead, plan your tasks around the way you naturally work. To remember yourself of the Stoic principles you want to live by, take some time to think, perhaps by writing in a notebook or reading Stoic books. Add Stoic breaks to your day as well. These are short breaks where you can think about how you're feeling and get back in line with Stoic ideals. These are times to ask yourself, is this action in line with my virtues? These breaks can help your routine stick by grounding your actions in Stoic thought. A Stoic practice also allows for some freedom in how it is set up. Stoicism teaches us how important it is to be calm and flexible in difficult situations. So, if something unexpected comes up and takes your time, or a chance to show virtue comes up, change your plans. The goal is not to follow a strict list, but to live a meaningful life based on Stoic ideals. As you set up and improve your routine, keep in mind that the end goal is not just to get things done, but to build a character that stays stable and good no matter what happens. A Stoic routine can help you live a life that is not only efficient, but also morally sound and philosophically satisfying. In Stoicism, telling yourself to stop isn't just a way to stop doing something. It's also a way to take charge of your urges and wants, which often lead us wrong. This comes from the Stoic focus on self-mastery, which says that freedom comes from within, not from outside events. Giving yourself the order to stop is a way to use your courage to change your course and do better things. Let's talk about how you can put this into action. Let's say you often put things off by getting lost on social media instead of doing more important things. Giving yourself the order to stop in this case means more than just putting down your phone. It means realizing that the urge is a distraction from your values and choosing to focus on things that are in line with your Stoic goals, like reading philosophy or taking time to reflect. You can use this technique on any urge or habit that isn't helping you reach your higher goal. It could be smoking, eating too much, or any other kind of extra. Stopping the bad thing and replacing it with a good thing is part of the Stoic concept. In this situation, the idea of virtue substitution comes into play. This is when you switch from a habit that you don't want to have to one that does. Also, telling yourself to stop means taking a moment to think about why you're doing these things. What is making you feel bad or empty that you want to fill? Stoicism tells us to face our problems head-on, to understand them, and to figure out how to deal with them without turning to bad habits. You become more self-aware as a result of this thought, which is an important part of Stoic theory and gives you the power to make better decisions. Keep in mind the Stoic idea that you can decide how to react to any scenario when you practice this. By telling yourself to stop, you are showing one of the highest levels of self-control. This is a real test of your ability to live by reasonable principles, even when your habits seem impossible to break in today's world. We waste a lot of time and energy on things that don't help us reach our bigger goals or stay true to our values. This could be anything from mindlessly looking through social media to taking on too much because we feel like we have to instead of because we want to or because we have a reason. Stoicism teaches us to look at our values through the lens of virtue and usefulness, asking ourselves if these things help us grow as people and as moral beings. Now, what can you do to actually free up these resources? Start by taking a close look at a normal day or week in your life. Figure out how you spend your time, what jobs drain your energy, and what interests you. Are these in line with your objectives to live wisely, justly, bravely, and moderately? It might be time to make some changes if not. Another Stoic habit is getting rid of mental and physical clutter. We can make a place that encourages tranquility and concentration by removing as many distractions as possible. It's not enough to just keep your home or office clean. You need to make a setting that helps you live by Stoic ideals and where you can grow. When you open up these resources, you're not just making room on your desk or in your schedule. You're making room in your life for growth, thought, and getting involved with the more important parts of life. You're making plans for a life where your actions are thoughtful and in line with the Stoic virtues. This way, every choice you make will help you become the person you want to be. A fundamental tenet of Stoic thought is that by taking on challenging jobs, we can not only try our limits, but also expand them. As a way to gain more self-control, the Stoics pushed the idea of choosing to be uncomfortable. They thought that when we do something hard, we not only show how strong we are, but we also learn how to deal with problems in the future with more ease and calm. Think about the practice of choosing jobs that are hard on purpose, like starting a tough fitness routine, working on a difficult project at work, or even having a tough conversation. It might seem hard to start any of these projects, but each one gives you a different chance to develop virtues like courage, persistence, and responsibility. Stoicism tells us that the real value of these jobs is not in the results they give us right now, but in the growth they help us become. How can you start to make this a part of your life? Do something you've been putting off because it's hard to start. Approach this task with a Stoic attitude. See it as a challenge to improve your character and virtues. Prepare your mind by thinking about the good things that will come from this project, not just the end goals, but also the skills you will learn along the way. Stoicism also urges us to approach these challenges carefully, breaking them down into steps we can handle and having realistic expectations. Stoicism does not advise us to face these challenges without any planning. This organized method not only makes difficult jobs easier to handle, but it also gives our actions a feeling of order and purpose. By regularly pushing your limits, you not only get better at handling tough situations, but you also gain more faith in your own abilities. Each task shows how strong you are and how determined you are to live a good life based on Stoic ideals. Stoicism teaches us how important community is and how much our social surroundings affect our growth as people. The Stoic thinkers, such as Seneca and Epictetus, stress that the people we hang out with shape our beliefs as well as reflect them. It can help us become better people faster if we hang out with people who already have the virtues we want to develop. Take a look at it this way. Every contact is a chance to learn and grow. You're basically setting yourself up for success when you choose to spend time with people who push you, help you grow, and encourage you to live up to better ideals. These relationships keep you motivated to be your best self by reminding you of what is possible. How can you put this Stoic advice into practice? Start by taking a look at the ties you already have. Ask yourself which links support your virtues and which might be holding you back from developing. People shouldn't be judged. Instead, you should be aware of how they affect your life. It's important to put more effort into bonds with people who make you feel good. For example, you could start deeper talks, ask for help, or work together on projects that share your ideals. Also, go out of your way to make new relationships with people who are like the person you want to become. This could mean joining clubs, groups, or online communities that focus on things that interest you or help you grow, like a reading group about philosophy, a fitness community, or a charity organization. You can find inspiration and courage in the network of people who share your interests in these places. Remember that being Stoic isn't about surrounding yourself with perfect people. Rather, it's about making real bonds with people who push you to think critically, act fairly, and live bravely. By choosing your social circle in this way, you make a lively and helpful space that is good for your moral and personal growth. Instead of seeing change as a threat, Stoics see it as an unavoidable part of the way things work in the world. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius thought that being afraid of change was useless, just like being afraid of the sunrise. Both were going to happen anyway, and we couldn't stop them. We can connect ourselves with the flow of life by accepting change and realizing that each change brings a chance for personal growth and development. To get over your fear of change, you should first understand the Stoic idea of Amor Fati, which means love of fate. This means that we have to accept everything that happens to us as a part of our journey, even the things that seem bad. We can reduce a lot of the anxiety that comes with uncertainty by adopting this mindset, and we can also learn from the lessons that these changes will teach us. Start by watching how you respond to small changes in your daily routine. This will help you stop being afraid of change for good. Remind yourself of the Stoic principle of seeing problems as chances as you become aware of any pushback you feel. Every little change is a chance to get better at being resilient and adaptable. In addition, make thoughtful reflection a regular part of your life. Reflect on changes in the past that seemed scary at first, but ended up being beneficial. This supports the idea that change, even if it's hard, can be good for your personal and professional growth. Stoicism asks us to actively interact with change in a way that is consistent with our virtues, not just to accept it quietly. This means being ready for change, making choices based on what is right and wise, and using change to make ourselves and our surroundings better. If you look at change through this Stoic lens, you can turn something that many people fear into a powerful source of strength and rebirth. Saying no to things that aren't necessary, according to Stoicism, helps you focus on what is important to your health and happiness and is in line with your core beliefs. This principle can help you live a life that isn't filled with activities, relationships, or things that aren't important. Instead, it should be focused on virtue and personal growth. Stoic thinkers stress the significance of knowing what is necessary and what is not, advising us to get rid of unnecessary things and focus on what is important. This way of thinking isn't just about simplicity in the real world. It also affects our plans, responsibilities, and even our feelings. By cutting back on things that aren't necessary, we have more time, energy, and attention to spend on things that make us truly happy and fulfilled. To use this in your everyday life, start by taking a look at the things you are already committed to. When you do something or have to do something, ask yourself if it helps you reach your personal and moral goals. Have the courage to say no once you know what is not necessary. This could mean turning down offers that don't fit with your goals, leaving projects that take up too much of your time and energy without giving you anything in return, or even staying away from people who are negative. Follow this rule with your things and your internet life as well. Only keep the things that make your life better in your living area and internet relationships. Not giving up comfort or fun doesn't mean you have to live without them, but you should prioritize the ones that serve a purpose beyond just getting something or being distracted. Being stoic and saying no to things that aren't necessary gives you power over your surroundings instead of letting it control you. It's about making choices that strengthen your independence and help you move toward a more useful and balanced life. You can think of your personal rhythm as the normal state in which you feel most in line with your values and most helpful in your work. This rhythm will always be interrupted, whether it's by outside factors like unplanned events or by internal factors like mental changes. Stoics don't panic or give up when things get hard. Instead, they gently guide themselves back to their regular habits of self-control and awareness. Start by figuring out what your main tasks are that make up your beat. These could be set patterns like meditation in the morning, reviewing the day in the evening, regular exercise, or set times to read and think. When life throws you off, put these things at the top of your list to get back on track. You can also use Stoic thought to figure out what caused the change. Were you able to stop it? If so, what could be done better next time? If not, remember yourself of the Stoic division of control, which says we should think about how we respond to things instead of what they are. Forgiving yourself for any errors is also part of getting back to your flow. Stoicism teaches us to be kind to ourselves and know that the goal is not perfection, but constant growth. As you get back into your routine, you can reaffirm your resolve to live by the Stoic virtues, seeing each loss not as a failure, but as a step on your path to self-mastery and personal growth. Today's world is full of noise and hurry, so it can be hard to find ways to stand out and make real contacts. But what if I told you that the key to having a magnetic presence isn't how loud you are, but how quiet you are? This section wants us to learn together how to create a silent charm that makes people notice and remember you, even in the most quiet places. We'll talk about habits and ways of doing things that show how beautiful being yourself is, as well as unconscious communication, personal style, the right scent, proper manners, and much more. All of this is done to bring out the unique things about you in a way that is modest but very attractive. You've arrived at the ideal location if you're looking for ways to increase your attractiveness without saying a single word. Connect with these practices that can change your life right now and learn what they can teach you that can change how the world sees and feels your presence. Putting accepting authenticity at the center of the human journey makes accepting authenticity a unique trip that shows the shape of being in its best form. Authenticity isn't just a trait or a pretty face. It's the most honest reflection of a person's beliefs and values that can't be taken away. Being real in this situation isn't just a way to stand out because you're different. It's a brave call to go deep inside yourself and come out with your true face, shaped by your own experiences and beliefs, instead of a mask shaped by what other people think of you. The path to self-discovery and self-affirmation is not a straight line, and it is not always easy. If you want to stay true to your core, even when doubt and routine try to pull you away, you have to constantly look inside yourself and have strong courage. As a result, authenticity draws like a light people who see truth and depth not just as desirable traits, but also as essential building blocks for deep human relationships. Because they are based on trust and respect, these relationships go beyond the surface level of everyday exchanges. They create links that are both safe havens and places for growth and inspiration for both parties. Genuineness not only improves a person's reputation in society, but it also changes what it means to be socially influential. True influence isn't measured by numbers or short-lived fame. Instead, it's measured by how long a genuine person can change the hearts and minds of those around them. When someone expresses themselves through fashion and clothes, this fabric of silent manifestations opens up as a huge field of self-expression, where each piece chosen, each color adopted, and each texture chosen becomes a story part of the person who wears it. When it comes to fashion, dressing isn't just a matter of ego or conformity. It's a way to have a personal conversation with the world and share without words what makes each person special. In this situation, fashion goes beyond its practical purpose of covering the body and becomes a form of personal language, a visual code made up of choices and tastes that show not only who a person is, but also their life stories, beliefs, and values. So, choosing clothes isn't based on the urge to follow short-lived trends. Instead, it's based on the conscious decision to show the world who you are by using materials and shapes to show how complicated and rich your inner being is. Choose clothes that fit your body type and attitude. This is not only a way to feel good about yourself, but it also helps you learn more about yourself and boost your confidence. When you match your outer expression with your inner truth, you not only show the world the real you, but you also attract people and opportunities that are a good fit for you. This connection strengthens self-perception and presence in the world by establishing a clear unity between being and showing, between identity and the reflected picture. Fashion also gives people a way to show themselves that is open to endless exploration and discovery. It lets each person explore different parts of themselves and play with the different identities that make them up. Each piece of clothing, every odd mix, and every splash of color or pattern not only tells a story, but also encourages the viewer to delve deeper into that personal story, giving them a fuller and more detailed picture of the person behind the look. Enhancing nonverbal communication. In the vast world of human contact, communication goes beyond words and navigates the deep and often rough seas of what is inside. Nonverbal communication, which includes body language, facial expressions, movements, and looks, is like a silent mirror that shows not only how we feel and what we want, but also how open we are to the outside world. Without saying a single word, posture, which is the foundation of non-verbal communication, says a lot. And straight and open stance not only makes us feel better about our own confidence, but it also sends a message of strength and willingness to talk, which encourages others to do the same. For the same reason, facial gestures, which show instantly how we're feeling, help us understand others' thoughts and tendencies better. In a real conversation, eye contact is what holds two people together. It's a straight line to the soul that can show sincerity, interest, and respect for each other. Maintaining eye contact that is neither avoidant nor overbearing is important for making a real connection and showing that you are fully present and paying attention to the speaker. Changing and improving these non-verbal cues is an art that takes both self-awareness and a strong sense of how people connect with each other. This kind of polish isn't about changing how other people see us. It's about making our position in the world better and more in line with our goals and ideals. By coordinating our body language with our inner voice, we become more genuine, which makes us seem more attractive and friendly to others. This process of improvement is not a goal, but a never-ending journey of self-discovery and change, where every move, look, and emotion is a chance to connect with others and with oneself more deeply. Improving non-verbal communication is, then, a practice in understanding and sincerity. It's a search for balance between being true to ourselves and being open and available to the world. Being polite and following the rules is important in social situations. When used correctly, these small but important things can make a big difference in how well people get along with each other. Etiquette and good manners are not just old-fashioned rules or pointless routines. They are the silent language of respect and care, a delicate dance that helps people get along with each other in a way that is both dignified and graceful. Using proper manners is a way to show that you respect other people. It means understanding how sensitive other people are and being able to change how you act to make others feel better. This attention to detail in social settings not only makes it easier for people from different backgrounds and views to get along, but it also makes life nicer and more fair for everyone. Therefore, having good manners is more than just following the rules or social norms. It shows that you are well-mannered and aware of the subtleties of getting along with others. When someone stands out for their politeness and good manners, it's clear that they care about social order and have a deep understanding of how people interact with each other. People see them as more important because of this, and it makes them more admired and respected, which can lead to deeper and more meaningful relationships. Using good manners is more than just a way to make people like you more. It shows how beautiful your soul is. It shows that you are kind on the inside and really want to help make the world a better place where everyone feels appreciated and respected. When we use good habits and pay attention to the little things in our interactions, we stand out not just for how elegant we look, but also for how we are as people. This gives us a beauty that goes beyond looks and gets to the heart of human relationships. Going the extra mile with manners is a way to make us all think about what we can do to make society more polite and civilized. It is a personal trip to a better understanding of how important it is to respect each other and care about the needs and feelings of others. It is a road that leads to being known not only for being there, but also for the quality and honesty of how we connect with the world. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments if you like the lessons. I'm interested in what you think. Let's keep being present in the passing scenery of our daily lives, which is full of distractions and the constant need to get things done. Being truly present stands out as a place of honesty and relationship with other people. In its best form, being present is more than just being in the same place as someone else. It means giving our full attention to the people we're with in the present moment. Giving your full attention to the present moment is a sign of respect. It sends a silent but powerful message that the time and experience you're sharing are important. Being present is a form of resistance, especially in a time when attention is easily split. It's a return to the basics of human interaction, where listening means more than just hearing what's said. It means understanding what's not said, sensing the emotion that runs through the words, and realizing that we are all human. Active listening is more than just hearing. It's an interaction that supports the other person and makes them feel seen and heard in their wholeness. It helps relationships grow because when someone feels truly heard, a space of trust and openness is formed, which makes it possible for a deeper and more meaningful connection to form. Furthermore, being able to hold a talk without getting sidetracked by physical or mental distractions, like constantly wanting to use electronics or thinking too much about the past or future, shows respect and care. It shows that you value not only the words you share, but also the other person's time and presence, which is something that is much more valuable in this fast-paced world. Being present not only improves our social perception, making us more approachable and appealing to others, but it also improves our internal perception, letting us live life more fully and consciously. By practicing present, we let in the richness and complexities of human relationships. We can find beauty and meaning in small things that we might not notice otherwise. Sharing yourself is an art that balances on the fine line between being truly open and protecting a holy inner place. It's important not to share everything about yourself because relationships are so complicated. Hide and seek with the truth is not the point of keeping a certain amount of mystery around yourself. The point is to carefully craft your story so that self-revelation doesn't happen all at once, but rather as a calm stream that slowly reveals its depths. These careful choices about what to share protect us from being too open, but they also invite people to be curious and genuinely interested. In contrast to the ideas of complete openness, which can weaken the relationship itself, surprise encourages research and a desire to learn more about the other person. It means that there are layers below the top that haven't been found yet, unexplored areas that could add new findings and reveals to the journey we're all on together. Being careful about what you share about yourself is a natural way to build relationships, because each piece of personal history you share builds trust. This method of slowly revealing things lets relationships grow at their own pace, building a shared interest that gets stronger over time. So, the level of desire isn't just based on how much information is shared, it's also based on how good the relationship is that grows as each new layer is revealed. So, adding a bit of mystery isn't a way to hide or trick people, it's a way to celebrate how complicated people are. Being aware that we are complex beings with a lot of different sides that can't be fully understood in a single meeting or time. Not only does this method respect each person's privacy and psychological and emotional space, but it also values the slow process of getting to know someone, seeing the process of discovering each other as an important part of closeness. By keeping some things mysterious, we also urge people to keep talking and exchanging ideas, which keeps the spark of interest and wonder alive. This subtle game of showing and hiding, of knowing and being known, makes relationships stronger by adding a level of depth and complexity that will not only keep the spark alive, but also build respect and understanding as each layer of mystery is carefully revealed. Immersing yourself in a world of writing and information to develop your literary culture. The growth of a literary culture is essentially a never-ending trip through faraway places, bygone times, and different points of view. Explore different cultures through books, languages, and close attention to current events. This not only gives us information, but also the tools we need to understand the richness of human difference. This literature trip is more than just learning facts or passively reading stories. It's a conversation with the world that never stops, a way to get close to the many sides of the human experience. Having a mind that is open to new ideas and wants to understand the subtleties of different languages and countries is important for developing a soul that is at ease with all of life's experiences. Being knowledgeable about many topics is not only a sign of intelligence, but also a sign of respect for the world's complexity and the many views that exist in it. As a result, everyone understands that every country, language, and current event is an important part of building worldwide understanding. This willingness to be open and respectful of differences not only makes our talks more interesting and full of complexity, but it also broadens our understanding by letting us see things from other people's points of view. When we use different kinds of information in our conversations, we not only keep people interested, but we also build bridges over gaps of ignorance and unawareness. Every talk is a chance to share and learn something new, a place where respecting differences leads to mutual growth. The academic appeal that comes from this isn't just showing off how smart you are, it's the chance to interact with, question, and think about the world's complicated fabric. So, building a literary culture is a way to get ready for global governance. It's a way to become more aware of things that affect more people. This process not only makes us more interesting and knowledgeable to talk to, but it also makes us more complete people who can navigate the world with a better sense of how beautiful variety and the wealth of human knowledge are. When you put empathy and kindness at the center of your interactions with other people, they become life-giving forces that weave together the core of what it means to be truly linked with another person. Empathy is the capacity to put oneself in another person's shoes, to feel with one's heart and comprehend with one's mind the world from that person's point of view. These traits not only bring people closer together, but they also make it safe for them to talk about their feelings without worrying about being judged. Vulnerability is not seen as a sign of weakness, but as a way to connect with others more deeply. Having empathy and compassion is a celebration of our shared humanity. It's a way of recognizing the struggles, joys, sadness, and dreams that make up the human experience. By knowing and being there for others, we show that their feelings are real and that they don't have to go through their problems alone. By building walls of trust and closeness that can survive the storms of hardship, the act of sharing and understanding feelings improves human ties. Empathy and kindness make it easier to build relationships that matter to you because they bring out love and understanding. Meaningful in this case goes beyond the surface, hitting a level of connection where support, acceptance, and growth are the most important things for both people in the relationship. People understand that deep down we all want to be understood, respected, and loved. And that understanding and kindness are the best ways to give and receive these valuable gifts. Empathy and kindness are more than just virtues to admire. They are ways of living that should be incorporated into all of our relationships, big and small. These people push us to see beyond our own wants and needs, to pay attention to both what is said and what is not said, and to act not because we have to, but because we really want to help other people. Accepting humor, that spark of joy in the heaviness of everyday life, is an essential part of the art of connecting people. Humor isn't just an add-on for conversation. It's a way to bring people together and break down the walls we often put up around ourselves, whether they're made of shyness, reserve, or just being uncomfortable around other people. By using fun in our conversations, we not only make it easier for people to talk to each other, but we also add love and humanity to them, making a space where being honest and open can grow. Funny things are great because they can be used by anyone and can also be tailored to a specific person. There's no need to try to be the funniest person at a party in order to gain from this great social tool. Just a few well-placed comments or wise observations wrapped in humor can brighten the mood and make people feel more friendly and open. When used correctly, humor doesn't mean to make fun of or put down the other person. Instead, it celebrates our shared humanity, flaws and all. Being able to laugh together and share a real moment of happiness is a strong sign of connection. It brings people together by giving them a story they both remember. This memory can help build stronger, longer-lasting bonds. Laughter isn't just a way to break the ice in this way. It's also a way to keep making friends that you want. People naturally want to be around people who can make them feel good and make their lives lighter, especially when they are stressed out and worried. But it's important to remember that funny jokes work best when they relate to the audience's feelings and situation. To do this, you need to be able to read the surroundings well and know what is acceptable and what can be told. Using humor in a socially acceptable and accepting way shows not only social intelligence but also care and respect for other people's feelings. This is an art that, when learned, makes social interactions a lot better. Taking care of yourself in the big picture of daily life, where challenges and demands are woven into a web of tasks, shines like a light of self-esteem and strength. You shouldn't think of taking care of yourself as a treat or a pleasure. It's a basic need that shows you understand how important it is to keep your body and mind in order. By putting self-care first, we give ourselves the tools we need to handle life's sometimes rough waters with ease and strength. Taking care of yourself includes a lot of different things, from eating well and working out regularly to finding time to be alone and think. Doing these seemingly easy things can help you feel good about your own self-worth and show that you care about your health and well-being. This determination not only leads to better health, but also to a noticeable boost in mood, energy, and liveliness, all of which are important parts of having a magnetic and attractive presence. Taking care of our bodies gives them what they need to work at their best, letting vital energy flow easily and reviving every cell and movement. In the same way, taking care of our mental health is like planting a garden inside ourselves that brings peace and strength so that the flowers of self-acceptance and happiness can grow. This balance between body and mind gives you a glowing look and an air of well-being that draws people to you naturally, making a vibe that makes you want to connect and interact. So, self-care is more than just taking care of yourself. It's a statement of purpose, a sign that you're on a road of growth and self-improvement. It sends a clear message to the world that we value our lives and want to live the most satisfying and healthy ones possible when we spend time and energy taking care of ourselves. More than that, taking care of yourself makes other people realize how important it is to do the same, leading to everyone's health and happiness. It's a big deal to choose self-care in a world where stress and not taking care of yourself are common. It's a step toward a healthier and happier culture that will last. By fully committing to self-care, we not only benefit ourselves, but we also help make the world a better place where health and energy are valued and encouraged. Because of this, taking care of yourself is a key to a fuller and more important life, both for yourself and for the people you share your trip with. Getting along with others while still giving them space for freedom and self-respect is a tricky part of human relationships that needs to be learned in order to build healthy, worthwhile relationships. It's not a game of making things scarce. It's a real way of showing that you value your own time and energy, knowing that your presence, both physical and mental, is a valuable and limited resource. You show that you respect yourself and your needs by choosing not to be available all the time. This sets healthy limits that not only protect your well-being, but also make people value your time and presence more. This act of valuing yourself makes relationships feel more meaningful and exciting, making every moment you share with others more meaningful and rich. So, finding the right mix between being available and growing your freedom is like dancing a fine line that needs to be done with awareness and purpose. It means understanding how important it is to take care of relationships with other people while also respecting the need for private space to grow, think, and start over. This balance not only enhances the quality of relationships, but it also boosts self-esteem and liberty, which are crucial for creating a genuine and magnetic presence. By actively controlling your availability, you also encourage others to think about how important it is to value and respect someone else's time and energy. This creates an environment of mutual respect and exchange. This way of interacting with others in a thoughtful and respectful way makes relationships stronger by making each person's company seem like a gift to be treasured instead of an endless resource to be ignored. Congratulations on taking this important step towards a happier and more confident you. By embracing the principles of Stoicism, you've unlocked a powerful tool for personal transformation. Continue to practice the strategies you've learned today, and you'll find that these changes will become more natural and integrated into your daily life. Keep this momentum going and revisit these lessons whenever you need a refresher. Your journey towards a more fulfilled life doesn't end here. It's just beginning. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your transformation. Here's to your continued growth and success as you build a resilient, joyful, and confident future.